2, 1.
Yeah, willing to die for what I'm living for. And if you didn't get it, go and live some more. I'ma run it up, gotta get some more, we ain't done enough. Can't fake or imitate, short grass so no snakes get in the way. John Madden called me, I got the play. In the maze, you gotta find a way. Or make one, living for the future, not yesterday. Wanna be great, do what it takes. Willing to rise for the right reasons. And you can't kick us out cause we not leaving. Bring all my flowers while I'm still breathing. Made a promise every day gon' be my season. Wanna sleep on greatness, better keep dreaming. Hall of Fame need to name this for one reason. I'm a legend. I'm a legend.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ward Radio live stream. I am your host, Carden Ellis, and today I am joined in the studio by a killer cast. I got my friends here today. We've got Brad Whitbeck, as well as Jonah Barnes, Associate Professor of all things apocryphal, and said mystery guest. Ask and ye shall receive, knock it shall, and it shall be opened unto you, and tease it and pay it off. We got a mystery guest here who's a super cool guy, being a Los Angeles member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I got to meet all kinds of cool people. The cool person today is none other than Matt Ball, who is, you're in charge of PR on the West Coast. What's your deal again, man?
Yeah, true story. I'm the Public Affairs Director, International Public and Internet. Well, it's the Director of Public and International Affairs for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on the West Coast, in North America West area. So that's kind of the whole Western states, Hawaii included.
Wow. You're the only guy that found a job title longer than the church's official name.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, your business card must be an absolute riot, bro. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. So he is the director of West Coast PR, we'll just call it, for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We'd like to excuse the absence of our friend Kwaku L, who is taking care of some personal business here for a second. He will join us hopefully here in the next 25 minutes. And Brittany the Shadow, if she is able to, after soccer practice, will be gracing us with her presence as well. But we're super excited to be here today. We've got a church PR guy on the spot. With some really, really funny super chats already coming in. Somebody asked, what'd they ask, Brad? What did you say they asked?
Just speculation before anything started. Someone was like, is it Aaron Sherinian?
Good man. I just saw him literally an hour ago.
He's next. An hour ago?
Yeah.
So he's here?
He was in L.A. today.
How come you didn't bring Aaron Sherinian?
He had other assignments. Other assignments took him away.
Oh, other assignments more important than us?
I'm so sorry to report that to you.
He's like, wait, that Carden guy? Yeah, sorry. I'm not going.
No. I heard of him, man. I heard of them. No, we're just kidding.
But
we love Aaron Sherinian.
This is like super chat gold.
Yeah,
church PR guy live right here. This is like super chat. Well, this also could be dicey super chat.
Yeah. I wanted to just like read another chat that I chose that I think would be good to go over. Paul Black said, "Grab a pillow. Guy from PR will be talking." Matt, what do you have to say to this?
Oh, what? Dude, you're getting savaged already,
Listen,
bro.
I don't even snore when I sleep, so you can grab your own pillows. Let's do this.
Yeah. I love the attitude, bro. I love the attitude, man. So anyway, just introduce yourself to the crowd. Tell us who you are, where you came from, just the TLDR of your story, the Reader's Digest version, and we want to just know more about your job, what you do, what you got in this, the whole 9 yards, bro. Just introductions. The floor is yours. Matt Ball, go.
Okay, I've been 16 years now doing PR for the church on the West Coast. I began as the area director of public affairs for all things from business, academia, interfaith, you name it. And it led to diplomacy with all the consuls generals and the diplomats from various countries. Anybody that's posted here from a foreign country, 172 countries approximately in California, north and south, and that ranges from every country you can think of here. But LA is the third largest and considered the third most significant consular corps in the world. So it goes Hong Kong, New York, and LA.
I believe it.
Now, when you say consular corps, do you mean like more diplomats are here?
Exactly.
Or?
Yeah, California is like its own nation. I mean, it's a gigantic economy, and
Dude, there's a reason why Russell M. Nelson asked us to stay, bro, and it can't just be explained away by stop driving up real estate in Salt Lake City. By the way, wait, I got a question for you. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I can't stand...
Oh, yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Oh, yes,
Carden,
you
you cannot say that with a straight face. You've had Kwaku on too many episodes.
No, I'm friends with conspiracy theorists, but I ain't a conspiracy theorist.
I think last night was the flying dinosaurs episode. Was that what it was?
Look, science has not been honest with the truth of the potential of dragons being dinosaurs walking side by side with humans. All right?
Exactly
that's
like
all.
how I would expect a
Jet fuel
non-conspiracy
doesn't
theorist.
melt steel beams. No.
Hey, I think the term is fiery flying serpents, right?
Yeah, see,
You're one of them.
Matt's on board. Matt's on board.
he is amongst the
totally on
initiated.
board.
He is amongst the initiated. My man, this is awesome. So anyway, I am not a conspiracy theorist, but I got to tell you, it bothers me that I haven't been able to find a copy of Russell M. Nelson's special Fireside. There's news articles with quotes from it, but there's no copy of his California Fireside. How can we get that, bro?
That's a good question. That's an easy ask to find out what's up, but I don't know the answer to that question. And here's an interesting thing about what I do, and it's really non-religious, or I try really hard not to inculcate or indoctrinate or impose a religious perspective with doctrine in any kind of conversation with diplomats, so that they know that my mission is not evangelical. My objective is not to try to convert. It's simply to try to introduce and to help them to know, frankly, I have the best job in the world. I used to be 15 years in the entertainment business at Disney, and then I was at DreamWorks for another 10 years.
Whoa.
And after doing that and coming here very unintentionally, the thing that I found was when everybody asks, what do you do? How do you do? Why do you do? It always comes down to, listen, I try to make friends with the top leadership in the world so that if the church ever needs to have communication with anybody or anything from a foreign country, then they can call me and we can do that. We can be there. So that's part of the reason why I'm here. That is the reason I'm here. But the idea is to make it so that each country knows that my job is to say thank you for letting us be in your country. So to say thank you, I come up with ideas and manners, ways in which we can express that thanks, i.e., we provide mobile consulates for them. We provide our visitor center for cultural affairs for them to do their cultural events.
Oh, wow.
We also do humanitarian connections with them. If they have something they want to initiate right here in California to say, I would like a fence built around my school in Senegal, then I contact my colleagues, my counterparts in that part of the world, and then within 6 weeks, this happened. We actually put a fence around a school where they were trafficking kids right out of that school.
Oh, my God.
Man.
Putting a fence around it, and then our humanitarian team went in there and they saw that there was a couple of roofs that were missing, a couple of buildings that needed electricity and water, and as a result, we had them, or they installed it, and at that time they said, hey, our hands are in the moss, so let's do this. So they put a huge block wall all the way around this school, razor wire on top. They put ceilings, roofs, that is. They put water, electricity in a few buildings, and suddenly that consul general and I are friends for life. And it wasn't because I'm looking for a way to manipulate or bribe as much as just saying, hey, listen, if we could do something for your country, then we're going to be friends. And so my job is to become friends.
Do you have this school? Do you have a where is this?
Yeah, you got a picture of this,
No,
man?
it's in Senegal, Africa.
Because that's amazing.
I don't have it on my phone right here, but it's in Senegal, Africa. True story. That actually happened. That was real. That actually
Good
went on.
grief.
How come we don't know about this stuff?
Hey, that's why
you
you got
know?
me here. That's why we're here right now.
That's true.
Yeah, but
Hey,
only one of
there you
you, man, church, I'm sorry. Like, we either need to start using the Deseret News as the freaking propaganda arm that it's supposed to be, or else we need to just give up on that thing, all right? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, none of us know about this stuff. We're all just too busy writing op-eds about, no, Mormons are smart and can believe in evolution too. Like, it's, oh my gosh, what a missed opportunity, bro.
That is a crazy story.
Now,
Good
at
grief.
what point do we start forming the paramilitary group to actually go protect the school?
Let's get to this.
To protect the school in Senegal
That's
from the
an
traffickers.
Machine gun turrets on top of the wall.
It's a core part of public relations to establish militia groups, right?
Not ever a part of our discussion. Not ever
So-
part of
No,
our
no. You don't understand. We have a rich heritage of violence in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day
Oh my
Saints.
gosh,
No, that Browning 9mm, like a bunch of yoked chads
True.
from like Manti that didn't quite make the cut for serving a mission, but still got a little bit of that anger in them, making just like a defensive sentinel group for like the temples in war-torn countries or something. Those chads would walk around just like with a chip on their shoulder. Scary. You know what I'm saying?
hear-
You wouldn't mess with Mormons if they had bodyguards.
Let me give you an example of something that we did that was really just blow my own mind. It was a crazy, wonderful thing, and that is right during COVID when we were flying LDS missionaries out of countries and coming back to the United States, I started to talk to a couple of guys that were doing this, and I'm like, this is a really cool thing you guys are doing. They're coming back. They're landing at LAX because that was kind of the central hub where they were able to land and then distribute them throughout the country, sometimes not via airplane again. But since all the commercial flights had shut down, the church was chartering private planes from those countries to come to the U.S. I'm like, all right, that's not cheap. At which point I go, okay, so who's flying back on those planes? And they go, it's an empty plane flying back. I said, excuse me, wait, what? So I went to the consuls general and I said, okay, so a hypothetical question for you. If by some chance you could fill any foreign nationals that are stuck here in the United States that want to get back to their country like Chile, if you want to do this, is there any way in which you might be able to fill a couple of jets that we have that are going back to those countries that are already paid for? All you'd have to do is sign a letter of indemnification against any harm, damage, or sickness that you might occur on this trip. And we'd give you a free flight on this thing because our planes have got to go back and pick up more missionaries. So, okay, I cannot promise you this is happening. I cannot guarantee anything. And the only condition I would even offer this up is if you know that there's nothing attached to this. There's no quid pro quo. There's no desire for a favor. There's nothing I'm looking for. This is just our chance to say thank you for letting us be in your country. And if that's not acceptable to you, I can't even go ask this question. But I'll go ask my superiors and see if it's possible if you will allow me to just say thank you and there's nothing else attached. Is this agreed? And he's like, well, yeah. And I said, okay, well, let's go do this. So the church was very uncomfortable with that because there was an idea or sense that I might be violating some foreign law. And anyway, with that concern, I'm like, no, not true. I never, ever attached myself to any promise, guarantee, commitment, nothing that was anything close to what would appear to be a favorite. Never.
You covered your bases.
I mean, and I even said, listen, if I have to have you sign a letter that says this is not a favor in any way, and he's like, I'll do whatever you say if this is really possible. And I said, well, I don't know. I can't promise anything. I went to our superiors and we met with everybody, and they're like, this is frightening. I mean, this is a kind of a on the edge kind of a moment here. We want to be very careful because we don't want to violate any laws. I'm like, there's no favors. There's nothing attached to this. Anyway, bottom line was we did this. And we ended up flying. He said, how many planes have you got? This is the consul general talking. How many planes can you have? And I said, I don't know, 3. How many people? 900 people? He said, I'll have every seat filled within 2 days.
Wow.
And I'm like, no. So at 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night at LAX, suddenly you've got lines and lines of foreign nationals getting on planes, signing indemnification letters that says, I release church from any harm or damage or sickness. And off they went. And suddenly it became this amazing thing to the point where when we were done doing that, the consuls general came to my office down at where my office was, and security wouldn't let him in because it was COVID. And I'm like, you have to let this man in. He is the head representative of his country, and he's coming here. You've got to let him in the door. And he came to the door, and my senior missionaries, my volunteer couple that was there, they received him, and he was very emotional. And he goes, this is just a thank you letter. This is just me and us, our country, saying we don't know what to say. And I'm like, don't say anything other than, hey, we're grateful that we could be in your country, and that's it. And to this day, he looks at me and he just kind of gives me a slanted head, and I'm like, no, there's nothing here. You know there's nothing there. And he goes, no, I know. He says, it's just, and so we become the very best of friends. And I mean, the kind of friendship now to where anytime, anywhere I see him, he's like, give me some bones. And he's all about going, how's your family? How are your kids? So when everybody asks about any diplomat, I'm like, oh, do you know they've got this child, and this is what the kid's into, and this is what he's studying, and this is what he's all, hey, what are you guys watching your movies? Which theater do you go to? By the way, you want to see a really cool restaurant? And so when I know they're asking personal questions like that, I know we're really good friends because now we're talking personal stuff. We're not talking, business apparently. So it's.
Wait, is this a picture of what happened, Jonah? Do you got a picture right here?
This is a COVID evacuation flight. I don't think this is the particular flight. One of the particular flights he's referring to. But I remember reading about this, about missionaries coming back. And actually, there was a kid in our ward, I think he was a missionary in the Philippines, and they got him out of there, and it was like private jets were chartered. By the way, you make PR sound awesome.
Oh, listen, my job is
It
so
sounds
much-
really
I thought
exciting.
all you guys were supposed to huddle in the back corners, afraid of what the Atlantic might have said 6 months ago,
sounds
like scared
amazing.
little mice. Like, isn't that like you're all just effervescent? You're robust. You're loud. You're proud. I love this, dog.
Oh, I've got a coin out in my car. I'll go get it for you. But the coin says on one side of it, it says, "We give without getting." And on the back of it, it says, "Expect nothing in return." And the reason I do that is because they always say, well, what do you do? And I'm like, we just make friends with the top leadership of the country. For example, right now, the project we're doing, which is a kick in the pants, is one of my favorite people that I met at a gathering, at a party, at an event. And at this dinner, we kind of hit it off, connected. And I'm like, so what do you do? And he says, I produce music. At the same time, I'm a polymath. I'm a professor. I'm a teacher. I mean, he does 10 things. His name is Fernando Garibay. The guy's a monster. He produced for Lady Gaga, Rihanna, U2, Bono, Sia. You name it, he's produced for them, and he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal
By the way,
musician.
I'm just proud you know who these bands are.
Oh, these guys are
Like,
well,
half these
Fernando.
bureaucrats, it kind of makes you wonder if they're still like, spinning LPs from the Kingston Trio and Elvis's greatest hits.
And when
you
they hear
know?
about Lady Gaga, they're like, how do we contact Lord Gaga?
Yeah.
That's good, Brad. That's good.
Brad, that's an A+ joke, bro.
We've had
that
enough
was,
of Lady
That
Gaga.
was you just won
it's so
comedy
good to-
sports this week.
It's
you
so
know?
my gosh.
good to hear from
Hey,
that voice
we've
of
got,
yours.
yeah, that's good. Now, I want to hear, we've got 2 super chats.
Oh, wait. Hang on a second.
Oh, yeah, finish.
Before I'm going to
Finish.
finish that little bit about Fernando, because Fernando, I stepped into him and said, okay, as we became well acquainted, I'm like, listen, I have a crazy thought for you, and I don't know if anybody will do this, but what if I were to have a diplomat representing any country in the world bring to us their Taylor Swift or their country? Would you be interested in doing a pop anthem or a pop song for their country that kind of stands out as a brand new thing that we can go to their country, we can produce it, write it, record it in their country so that it's all about them in their language, and then we blow it up and distribute it there first in hopes that we can get some international distribution after the fact? And he's like, let's do this. He said, wait a minute, can you really do that? And I said, I don't know, can you do that? And he goes, I don't know. So I'm sitting down with the Consul General of Guatemala, and we're having lunch with she and her family. She and her husband are in Salt Lake City. We're hosting them in Utah because we're looking at a mobile consulate location where they need to do this. In this conversation, I present her this idea. I'm like, so do you know who the Taylor Swift is of your country? She goes, of course. I'm like, so do you know her? And she's like, well, yeah. And I said, oh, can you make a call? Because I'd love to be able to make a song with her so we can do this. And she goes, well, I don't know her well enough to call her. I'm like, are you in charge of your country or not? Because if you're not going to be able to call her, I don't really think you're all that. So
What?
Yeah.
no, she's a great friend. If we were not such good friends, I'd never be able to
Hey,
tease her like
bro,
that.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you make a call to Russell M. Nelson on
Yeah.
our behalf?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Are you really in charge of West Coast public relations?
Let's just say
If
I
we get,
know,
hey.
let's just say I know better. Okay, I know better.
So keep going, bro.
No,
Keep going.
I'll give you a side note about that. When we take diplomats, we host them in Utah, and we're sitting in front of apostles or whomever that we did last week. They go, oh, you probably know these gentlemen all the time. You probably get to hang with them. I said, listen, these guys have 18 million people they're worried about on a regular basis. I'm not one of them. And the only reason why they even give me the time of day is because you're here representing your country with me right now, and that's why we're talking. Otherwise, they're going to just look at me in the hallway and nod like anybody else with a smile because they're so busy. They can't just focus on one person all the time. So to get their attention is kind of amazing.
You're not one of the lost sheep. You're fine. They're like, yeah, fine. They're moving on to people who need
Okay,
their
now
help.
really
Okay.
fast, I
Yeah.
just got to tell the audience, don't forget to like this stream, share it with your friends on the way in. We were finally able to change the title to live stream instead of with mystery guest. Okay, instead of saying with mystery guest, now we know it's with Matt Ball from West Coast PR here, who is just a barrel of laughs, all right? Totally fun guy. Please send us super chat here. We've got, I'm sorry, not please send us a super chat here. We've started a goal for our super chats, okay, guys? If we get 10 super chats over the next, oh, goodness gracious, We've got 4 of the 10. How much time is left on the super chat goal? Okay.
If we get 10, he
in
will
the next
call
21
Russell
minutes.
Nelson live on air.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
If we get 10
Matt
super
commits.
chats,
I don't even say
Commits
that.
to
you know what I'm saying? No, he will call Russell M. Nelson in a 3-wall call with
gosh.
Dieter Uchtdorf
Speakerphone.
on speakerphone. You know what I'm saying?
He's committing to it here.
Gosh.
And endorse Ward Radio
I
on
am
behalf of the church.
So
No, we're just kidding.
sorry.
We're just totally
I
kidding.
am so sorry, man.
I'm so sorry. He's
out of
like,
a job tomorrow. Okay?
yeah, for real. No, what's so funny is, dude, so many anti-Mormon. One of the number one hilarious anti-Mormon tropes, besides like, Joseph Smith was a baddie or whatever, is that like Ward Radio is like an official is funded by the
They
church.
say that all the time.
Dear.
Dude,
Okay.
it's like, it is so funny. And now we just run with it. We're like, yeah, dude, like
Yeah.
Russell M. Nelson, he just signs the checks.
Oh, sure.
He watches. He's got time to watch.
Yeah.
He super chatted yesterday, bruh.
Yeah.
Never mind, at great personal sacrifice has this been done. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, whatevs. These people are crazy. But we have set up a goal. The first 10 super chats that come in, if we can get to 10 in the next 21 minutes, and we got 6 out of 10 already. By the way, I meant to make it like 5 minutes, and I actually made it 25 minutes. So I kind of made that goal easy. But if you guys can give us 10 super chats here, questions for Matt, questions for us, questions for Jonah, questions for Brad, then we're going to give a special gift to Matt from Church Public Relations.
Oh, dear, he says.
Hey, by the way, we knew you're a PR guy. So
Oh, boy.
You had to have a welcome gift. Do you dig the Jamba?
I love the Jamba. Thank you very much.
So a strawberry, what was it you chose? You chose on his
Strawberry
behalf.
surf.
Surf rider, yes.
There we go.
Wow. He can tell by the taste.
A connoisseur. A true Southern Californian.
Acai from
yeah.
very possessed normally. There we go.
Hey, acai is caffeine. What are you doing, bro?
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. So anyway, make sure that you guys like the stream. If you have any questions, send us a super chat. And as long as it's appropriate and germane to the conversation, we'll do our best to read it on air. Without any further ado, Brad, go.
Wait a minute, Brad. I have to finish this because
Yes.
it's too good about Fernando.
Finish it.
Oh, whoops.
Finish it,
Okay,
yeah.
you're right. Finish.
No, because we went ahead and I told this to the Guatemalan Consul General, Morome Godoy. She is amazing. And she goes, well, do you think you can really do this? I said, listen, if you get in touch with your musician, we'll see what we can do, your singer. So she went ahead and reached out, and Gabby Moreno, that had just won a Grammy, she was not available at the time. So they said, we're going to do a little catch up. So they got us the #1 opera singer in the country, Mario Chang. And I'm like, oh, we're doing opera now. We wanted a pop song,
Dang.
and then they turned around and gave us Christophe Violin, this pop singer that's won tons of awards in Guatemala, that we put them together. And Fernando goes, well, let's do a little Moulin Rouge kind of a fusion here with pop. So he does this song that blows them out of the water. They played on their national day, and it's so astounding that the returning athlete that won the gold medal for the Olympics in Guatemala, for their first gold medal in history, they said, this is your theme song that represents you in the country now.
Whoa.
And so now we're on a podcast with the Minister of Culture and the Guatemalan Consul General, and their staff is on the Zoom call with us, and they go, listen, before we get started, we just want to give you the heads up, or at least the word, that the President and the First Lady wanted to let you know that they not only love the song, but just anything you need, anytime you need it, don't hesitate to call. And so my boss calls and says, so what does this have to do with your job? Because he doesn't know what's happened exactly. And I go, well, it looks like I'm a phone call away from the president at any given time. And he goes, oh, keep going. You're good. You're good.
Then never mind. Then whatever you're doing, keep doing that.
No, it's really cool because obviously he saw immediately what was happening. But until then, I was like, I don't know that I should say anything until it's happening because Anyway, so the bottom line is Fernando, he owns and runs the Garibay Institute. And the Garibay Institute is the organization through which we do this entire musical thing, so that all I'm doing is assembling the bodies, putting them in the room, putting all the heads together, and he's creating the music, he's writing it in country, he's doing everything there, and then the Garibay Institute produces it. And he's got this amazing group of guys that produce that whole thing. So the church is not an owner of the IP or the song itself. The church is simply the guy that's putting everybody
Just
in the room.
facilitator.
That's
just
it. That's all I'm doing. And as a result, the Consul General and I are like,
they all love you.
they are friends for life. And so everybody goes, so how come you guys are such close friends? I'm like, listen, I'm buying her family a dog. Their dog passed away during this whole experience, and they're devastated. I'm like, I'm going to get them another dog.
This is really funny.
I mean, they're like my dear
I kind of feel like
friends, right?
Cardin, you like this is a job you would totally love.
Oh,
Just
dude, if you're allowed to actually do
like
stuff,
patching people together, just like, I know a guy. He knows a guy.
this be the
I know-
dream gig, bro.
That sounds amazing.
Oh no, that's what we do all day long is connect the dots, and this is
So that's this guy right here, Jonah, that you were just putting inside of the
Fernando
no.
Garibay.
Fernando Garibay, he's the
Why is it
producer.
not coming up?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not coming up. Oh, it was coming up on the wrong.
Fernando's like a polymath. He just literally got handed a doctorate from the Thunderbird University of Arizona. He's like a professor there now.
Okay, so look, it's this guy right here, right?
Yeah, that's him. That's Fernando.
All right, that's your boy, and now
the
he's our
musician-
boy too,
And the
right?
musician was Christoph
Violin
Violin.
and Mario Chang. Those are the two guys. As a matter of fact, I can pull that diplomacy song up for you. I can pull.
You know what that means
Yeah,
to
yeah.
a country like Guatemala?
Dude, I'm pulling it up right now.
What
Yeah.
that means to them to have like, this is our anthem, this is our gold medalist. Like, they all know that gold medalist.
Oh,
In
yeah.
America, like, we have too many gold medalists. We don't even like know who they are. In Guatemala, they know. Everybody knows that kid.
Okay, so here it is. Here it is. This is the DTS main theme with vocals. I got permission to play this from you, right? I'm not going to get a letter from a copyright strike from Curtin McConkie or something for playing this.
No, you're talking about. That's diplomacy through sports because we're bringing athletes together, just like I did with singers. Now I've asked the consul generals to give me their top athletes, the ones that stand out in the country, and let's put them on a podcast and then have the consul general talk about what this means to the country and why it is that country is so elevated now and perceived so differently. Remember back in 1980 when the USA
Oh yeah,
beat
1980.
USSR?
I wasn't born yet, bro.
Huge. Sorry. Okay, when the Russia. Okay, that was
The
like
miracle.
the biggest hockey game. Yeah, the miracle on ice, obviously, right? So because of that, how it changed the entire perception and the whole attitude of America, I'm like, that's what we want to do. We want to do this podcast so it changes the idea of what Guatemala or any country in the world is perceived at because of their athlete.
Yeah.
And so we're like, let's get the athlete on the air to talk about their story. Let's get the consul general to talk about why this athlete is so smoking wonderful. And then let's do this. So we created the bumper music. We wrote we created the title of the thing called Game Changer, the power of diplomacy through sports. And that bumper music, that's exactly what we've got for
That's
the podcast
better
now.
diplomacy than any diplomat ever does. Like, you know what that means to a country?
Wait, but how did they let you out of the room of the cowering PR people worried about what the Atlantic is going to say about them?
Apparently you were misinformed.
You know,
because this
like-
sounds amazing.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were handing out Adderall and methamphetamines in the PR office building, and then having you're like, is this a word of wisdom issue? I don't know. Send out Matt Ball. Do we have to drug test him? No, this is natural. We're pretty sure this is natural, right?
Sounds amazing. So actually, this is one reason why whenever I watch the World Cup, which I religiously do, and I think it's part of our religion, always watch the World Cup. I always root for like Croatia or like the little guys, right?
Consul General, Renee Pea, she's awesome.
Like, I want the U.S. to do well. That'd be great. I want England, that'd be great. But like Croatia, like every person in that country, wall to wall, takes work off and watches every second of their team playing. And when they get second place, they throw a parade bigger than the World War II ending celebration. Like,
So true.
it is the biggest thing in the world. They know those
awesome.
people, and every kid in Croatia for the next 10 years is going to be named Modric. Like, that's going to be their first name because they all worship these people. So whenever I see that, I'm like, I want Croatia to win. Like, I love USA, but it means so much to Croatia. So this is amazing.
Jonah,
It's so smart.
I'm glad that at least one of us is thinking about the Croatians.
I love Croatians.
Listen, the consul general's name is Renee Pea, and she's a dear friend. She is awesome. And Croatia is amazingly beautiful. So if you guys don't have a chance, you need to get yourself
He's
to
like an
Croatia.
ESPN sportscaster. We're like, no, these ESPN sportscasters, sometimes, like, I don't know if they're saying the truth. We're like, yeah, so I spoke with the defenders during the, before the game. And then I, just gave a little talk to Olden Polonese. And then I was also speaking with Paul Brady in the mid-show. And they were just discussing it. I'm like, were you really? Or are you just saying that? This guy is like, do you really know that many diplomats, man? Your Christmas card list must be longer than the scroll the Book of Abraham came from.
So hold on. Now that you say that, you have to. That's funny. The greatest thing about that is my wife. She cooks homemade caramels, homemade candy, homemade peanut brittle, and then she makes this. It's amazing the stuff she puts together in a box of treats, and we send that out to every diplomat over the entire state of California. And they're like, these are homemade. And everybody's like, these are really homemade, man. Anyway, so as a result, we send this out. So you're talking about Christmas list.
Wow.
Word.
Our wife's Christmas, my wife's Christmas box. And then I have somebody from our office put their entry into that box, like either fudge or a little baked loaf of lemon cake or whatever it may be, but it's It's crazy wonderful. This when you're on she makes homemade jam. So you get a jam, caramels, and peanut brittle in addition to that little fudge.
Bro, can I be on your Christmas list, dog?
Yeah,
we just might put you on this time.
Like,
Cardi,
are
you
we?
might be there.
Did I make that cut?
No,
Dude,
after all these years, he's
you
finally...
won't call Russell M. Nelson. You won't bring Aaron Shrinian, but can I get some caramel out of this, dog?
No, you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing this guy's been dealing with international diplomats for like years and years, and he's finally achieved Ward Radio live stream. Like he finally came here,
Bro.
to do his thing with us.
And we probably just got more views than half of the paid ads in AM radio. But, just
putting Cardin's email right there, and these are the torch links right there. So you can play that song we just did for Diplomacy Through Music. You can play it and what we did about it. So it tells you the Diplomacy Through Music, why we did it, and then it plays the actual song that we created. Fernando created.
It's Wookie Boogie 1986, right?
Okay. Yes.
I got you.
No,
At AOL.
1989.
As you are looking up this very
Okay,
important
cool.
detail, I have some super chats that we're going to get to.
Okay.
All right, go, dog.
Okay, first one. Mike Allen. So how much is the church really funding Ward Radio to be on the airwaves?
That's good. I like that. I never heard of Ward Radio before today. Thank you for asking.
Okay, that's funny because it dunks on the stereotype, but a little bit sad.
But also funny.
No. Sorry. It's just messing.
Actually, Cardin's kind of low-hanging fruit. I had a free Wednesday, so,
Now,
I heard from his bishop he was going to go inactive, but I didn't talk to him. So this is really a mercy visit,
No, but the really cool thing about what we're doing though, like with Fernando's not a member of the church. These guys that I'm doing the podcast with, none of these people are members of the church. It's like, no, these are just real talent. Then we went out there and said, hey, we want to do this. He's like, we want to do this. So it's soft diplomacy. That's really how we get to this kind of friendship is through soft diplomacy.
But potent.
It's so good.
But
we
potent
become
diplomacy.
close friends because of this. It's amazing.
That sounds amazing.
Okay, so I'm doing the torch links.
Oh
right?
yeah. Do the one that's like English subtitles, or no, do it in English or Spanish, whatever you want to do. But if you do it in Spanish, that's real. Then you can see the English subtitles. But Spanish is how it was written, and it was sung in Spanish.
So I'm just pressing download on the first thing.
You don't have to download. Just hit the screen version.
Okay, hit the screen version. Okay, right here. What is
It's a Vimeo
this?
link. Thanks to Richard Radstone that did this. The director Richard Radstone that put this all together. He said, "That's it. You got it."
Okay, so here we go. We're gonna play this.
This is not the song. This is the pre-song that tells why we did it, what it's about.
It's a pre-song that tells why you did it and what it's about. Okay, here we go.
The world is divided.
Well, here we go.
It's coming. Don't worry.
Rock on. I'm feeling it.
The
I'm
world is
feeling it.
divided as never before. Yet in our discord, music lives as humanity's oldest unifying language.
Dude, I'm digging
A
this.
familiar heartbeat that weaves through every people, tradition, and time. From the beats of ancient drums to the melodies of modern symphonies, music has always been a gateway for connecting continents. Music transcends borders, unites societies, and bridges the gaps between us. In a world fractured by differences, music reminds us of the common rhythms that bind the human race together.
Did we make this? Or is
Our
this all
goal
stock
is to
footage?
create special
It's
songs
some stock
that
footage.
touch hearts
Richard
and
Radstone put
remind
it all
us of
together.
why we love our countries, our homes, and to better see one another.
This is predominantly stock footage for this part.
Okay.
Working with each nation's most recognized musical talent, we're shaping positive messages that foster unity and lasting bonds between people and diverse cultures. Together with Grammy Award-winning producer Fernando Garibay, and working with bel canto tenor Mario Chang, and SMA Award winner Christoph Violin, we began our unifying journey in Guatemala, a musical tribute and the genesis of our mission in soft diplomacy. Join us as from Argentina to Abu Dhabi, we span the globe, mastering individual musical scores that connect us all. A language that represents the many cultures of the world. Our vision is to move past the barriers of language by sharing music with a persona that can move minds, inspire nations, and direct us towards a tangible truth. That we are all contributors in a grand symphony, harmonized in our shared humanity.
All right,
Now-
brother.
Now comes the actual song we did, and we just wanted to explain what we're doing, what it's all about.
This is the one with Mario Chang. And
This is it. Mario Chang and Christoph Violin, and Fernando's the one that wrote it all
Okay,
together.
all right. Here we go.
this
Here
is
we go.
Brilliant.
We're not getting copyright struck by the song, right? The algorithms aren't going to get mad at us, right?
No, we own it all.
Okay. Which means I'm just sending you the bill if there's a problem, right? No, okay, cool. All right, here we go. Wow, this is great, man.
Again, Richard Radstone, the director, did all the visuals on this. He's based out of Lehigh, Utah, or actually, right out of Lehigh.
It looks slick.
All
It
right.
looks totally slick. Oh my gosh. Guatemalans are going to be pumping their fists. Yeah!
Oh, listen to this guy.
With the getting that opera in there.
He's their #1 opera singer.
That's awesome.
All right.
Is that the Christoph violin guy?
The heavier set.
No.
Oh,
That's
yes.
Mario.
Yeah, the one that's singing right now. That was Christoph.
All right. Okay, cool. So hold on. We'll let this keep playing in the background
This is
as we're talking
huge
about
for
it.
Guatemalans.
But yeah, this is massive, man. This is
What a
super
thing
cool.
to do. What a thing to do.
Would it be accurate to say you effectively got Guatemala's like Justin Bieber and Josh Groban
That was it.
to make a song?
It's exactly what we did.
Dude.
It's exactly what we did. And so now we've just asked every country that I come in contact with, I'm like, so who's your Taylor Swift? Who is that person? And we now have about 10 countries lined up saying...
And they know. They know immediately.
They do. They know right now. And
Sure.
so I tease them, and I'm like, okay, can you make that call? And they're like, well, I don't know them that well. And I'm like, okay, seriously, are you in charge of the country or not? And we mess, and then they go, well, let me make a call. And so they're all working on getting that person to come together
So
with us in
cool.
the studio. And then Fernando flies right down to the country. He brings his team, and they go down there with the artists, and they work right there in the studio, and they record it there in their language, and they get it done on
Hey,
the spot.
what a cool guy this Fernando guy.
Oh, no, Fernando's the best. He is amazing. Not a member of the church and totally in sync. And, I mean, the Garibay Institute is rock solid.
What a guy.
We have a super chat with some feedback for
Yeah.
Fernando.
Okay.
Brian Payne says, needs more cowbell.
True.
Needs
we
more
weren't going to say
cowbell.
it. We weren't going to say it, but yeah, we're all thinking it.
Okay, and Matt, I got a quick question for you. Are
Yes,
you
sir.
aware of the podcast Hot Ones, where they eat really hot wings
I am not.
on screen, and they see how long they last? They get celebrities to eat different hot wings with different hot sauces there. It's a very popular kind of like millennial show with this guy. I can't remember. His name's Sean something. All right. Well, our super chats are kind of that way as well. Like they start out very light, then they go
dear.
medium, then they go hot sauce, and then they go like ghost pepper rage, right? So what we got 10 super chats here. Do you want some good like just softy like I'm a boomer in PR, or do you want like the I'm like a millennial in PR, or do you want the fastballs to prove that you're a Babe Ruth Sultan of SWAT? You can handle the hot sauce, baby. What level of super chat do you want right now, bro?
We always want to go for the hard stuff, always.
Oh, dude,
Right.
okay.
This guy's great.
I
like
love this. I love.
Harden,
Okay.
lead off.
Oh, you want me to lead off?
Yeah,
Okay,
you pick
I'll
the
do
hardest one you think.
No, actually, no. We'll do a nice one first, and then we'll do a hard one. Okay? Because you always have to fool them into thinking you're not
I'm
that
not
good
even
of a
worried.
pitcher.
After listening to
You
this
know?
guy for a minute, I'm not even worried about it at all.
Okay, you're not even worried.
Oh, dear.
All right. So then here we go. Top chat right here. Thank you very much, super chat. Homeboy says, need more cowbell. Alicia Brown says, like the stream, or I'll send the emus. LOL.
She will.
She
will.
She's
She's
a
an
friend
Aussie.
of the chat from Australia as well. Canuto de Leon, I'll save his for later. Ben English said, love tonight's stream. Great to finally see some solid representation from the church office building. Let me buy you lunch downstairs the next time you're at the headquarters. I'm waving from the 24th floor. Okay.
Nice.
You got a fellow.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, man, church office building, great place. leakiest building on the planet for the Pentagon, we never would have won the Cold War. So, no, I'm just totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. But anyway, here we'll just go in mechanical.
They'll meet Palmer Luckey very soon, and an autonomous machine will take that building right out. So we got to be careful what we say here.
No. So then we'll just go actually in chronological order here. How much is the church really funding Ward Radio? Already did that one. Canuto de Leon. Do you have a favorite church PR story? Very easy super chat. Those
were some amazing ones.
That's a slow ball right there. Do you have a very a favorite church PR story?
Wow. Well, actually, the flights going back and forth for the countries, that was like one of the most favorite things I've ever been able to do. But here's the coolest thing that happens. And this happens on a regular basis. I should say irregular basis. But the bottom line is that one of our general authorities, one of our apostles, was trying to get into a country that they couldn't get into. And it was only because church travel and everybody had tried to be doing this, and there was some difficulty getting into India. And as a result, I'm like, well, and they called me on a Thursday. They needed to get the apostle into the country on a Monday. And I'm like, could you have called me any earlier? And they said, we've just tried everything. We've exhausted every opportunity, possibility, don't know where to go, what to do. And I'm like, well, how would you feel about going through Pakistan? And he goes, can you do that? And this is the secretary talking to me. And I said, can you do that? I said, I don't know. So I walked over. Well, I went into the consulate because he's a dear friend of mine, and we've done many things with him.
Consulate of Pakistan.
Pakistan, yes. And
you said it wrong. It's Pakistan.
Pakistan. It is Jabbar
with pride.
And it was Jabbar Mamon, the consul general, and he has now passed away. But when he was alive, I sat together with him in his office. And so as we're just talking, I said, listen, I don't want to ask a favor because that's not what I'm here for, but I'm here to ask for your counsel, and that is I've got one of our senior leaders trying to get into India, and they can't get in, and I just want to ask you, what would you do in this situation when we had more time to be able to manage this better, because we're asking you at the 11th hour, and this is not cool. So what would you do to help me, to help my travel folks and everybody understand the process a little bit differently and better so we can manage this better in the future, because clearly we're too late. So what would you suggest? And he goes, what are you talking about? And I said, well, no, I told you, I've got a senior leader that's trying to get in. And he goes, let me see your papers. And I said, no, this nothing. I just want to ask your advice. He goes, Matt, let me see your papers. What are you doing? Give me your papers. And so I give him the papers, and he turns to his friend, and in Pakistani, he's got a consul standing right next to him, and he turns and he just rattles off a brief conversation, and he leaves the room, and he's like, all right, so how's your wife doing? He said, that last time we had dinner together, and my son, by the way, who is going to some of the interviews that you recommended for him, and he goes, he's going to Utah to have interviews. I said, only tough thing about being interviewed in Utah is he might marry a Mormon, you know that. And he goes, oh, God willing, if he marries a Mormon, this is so good.
See, they don't mess around in foreign countries. What's so hilarious is all of these Exmo anti-Mormons that are beating us up in the comments and stuff like that. I tell them, go overseas. People love us. You know what I'm saying? Except for in Russia where he served and they think we're all spies for the CIA.
True. Yeah, they weren't big fans of us over there.
But it's like...
So as we're talking back and forth, we're chatting about everything, and I'm like, so how is your son doing, man? He's like, well, he's like number one at USC. He's at the top of his class. He was awesome. And while we're talking, in walks his consul, and he hands him back the papers, and he's puts his signature on the paper, and he says, there, your leader has passage into India 3 times this month, back and forth through Pakistan. Go, good luck. So
that's a great story.
I walk out of the door, and I get on the phone with church travel, and I'm like, so where are you going to be tomorrow morning at 10:30? Because I'm only going to send this to you, and you're going to take it in your hands, because this is golden. You're not going to get this again. I got a letter from the apostle shortly after this and said, as long as this was legal, ethical, and moral, I'm okay with what you did, but I have no idea how that happened. And
Dude, isn't it so cool just having that letter thinking they question I might have done something unethical? I'm sorry, no matter what anybody says with Harry Reid, I disagreed with him politically on so many levels, but the fact that I know Russell M. Nelson, when they had the problems overseas and they were going to kick out the missionaries, he lifts up the phone and says, Harry, we need your help. And Harry freaking, I don't know who he called, what threats he made, what bodies he threatened to unbury, and what heads he said he was going to put on a stick. But those missionaries were not kicked out that next day. Harry Reid knew where the bodies were buried.
Somehow.
For 15 mafiosos, 16 departments of state, and that dude still showed up to church on Sunday.
But
and was like, yeah.
What if he was just nice like Matt? And he accomplished all of this through just kindness.
There's no way the guy that got on CNN after Mitt Romney lost and said, I think they're losers. They're all losers. There's no way that guy did it by being nice.
That's fair. That's fair.
They say
I'm just being too Canadian.
he was a boxer.
No, but when we get a call though with 12 missionaries sitting on the border of a foreign country and they can't get in the country, and I get a call at the 11th hour and they say, hey, can you do anything about this? And I'm like, really? Where are they now? They say, they're standing at immigration, can't get in the country. I'm like, really? I call my counterpart in that country and I'm like, okay, so here's the situation. He goes, really? They're all down there at immigration? I said, I don't know if there's 12, there could be 17, but there's a lot of missionaries right now. And he goes, oh dear. And he calls a friend. And so within 2 hours, those missionaries are walking across the border and their response is, hey, this is a miracle. And I'm like, you're dang right, that's a miracle. Absolutely, that's a miracle. And know what? They'll never see me. They'll never know us.
Yes.
They'll never know who we are. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
Can I just say?
That's the way it's supposed to
Can
be.
I say? I was that missionary.
So was I.
I was that missionary. I served in Russia.
Are you guys done having your moment?
They kicked us out. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. They kicked me out. I didn't have my paper. I was burglarized. We told the story on this channel.
Yeah,
they stole my passport, so I got deported. Right? We had to leave like every couple months to go to Korea. I went to Korea. I went to Estonia. You go to Kazakhstan and Mongolia. You have to go to all these places to get your stamps renewed, right? And then come back in the country because they don't like us. And my mission president would always tell us, he'd say, there are guys in Moscow who, they're lawyers, they retired from the church, and they spend all their time keeping you here so that you can serve out your mission. And we prayed for those guys. We had no idea who they were.
Yeah.
No clue. Would never see their face or never know their name.
Right.
And we just say, thank you for those men who were just doing that to keep us in that country. So those missionaries standing on the border, I was one of those missionaries on the border, and all of a sudden you'd open and you'd get to the place you wanted to get to, and you have no idea the machinations that went on in the background.
That's exactly right.
And you were that guy.
Yeah, what's really cool is that I was called to Brazil to go on a mission, São Paulo Sul, and I never got there. So I went to San Diego and served there for like 5 or 6 months before they called me and they said, listen, you're not getting a visa to Brazil, I don't think so. And rather than lose your language, can we send you to Portugal? And it was brand new open. And they said, the whole country is wide open. It's all one big mission. You want to go? And I'm like, vamos lá, então, vamos quero se vir. So we did. They sent me to Portugal, and now it's my mission. So I have 3 mission calls, each one from President Spencer W. Kimball, that all say you've been called by divine inspiration to this particular location. And my daughter, who went to the Dominican Republic on her mission, got pulled back because of COVID, and she got sent to San Bernardino mission. She was so disappointed. I'm like, so let me help you. And they tell you some of the incredible things that happen in Portugal. And as a result of that, she's like, oh. And I'm like, it does not matter where you serve. It just matters how you serve and what's up. And she had these divine experiences in San Bernardino. Sure. She thinks it's heaven on earth. And I'm like, okay, she's been away too long. But it's awesome. But she loved it so much.
Awesome.
All right, you asked for some hot sauce, bro. And we're going to do this without Kwaku being here, all right? Dan Bronson says, with all the snark of somebody who just barely wiped the Cheeto grease off his copy of the CES letter, why doesn't the church... You shouldn't laugh at that. So why doesn't the church make an official written apology with the words, sorry, apologize, and we were wrong about pre-1978 doctrine and policy?
That's a very good question. That's not something that I actually address with anybody anytime. But we go through it, and what we talk about with the diplomats are things that don't even relate to that in any way. As a matter of fact, my conversation is so non-doctrinal and so not about that information and that kind of topic that it's always about, so what do you do, who are you, where do you come from? And any kind of concern that they have, if they ever get to that question, if it ever comes up, then we go right back to it and we start talking about it from the very, very get-go. And it's a very cool discussion, but never have I had this discussion. Never.
You know what I think? The diplomats from Senegal who had children being kidnapped and trafficked from that school, I bet you they were really like, now before you help us build that wall, we need to have this out.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's really important and stuff, but we need to have this out. Pre-1978, they don't care. Their children are being trafficked. Sorry, the CES letter wants to make a big deal of this. No, move on. Move on. There's children being kidnapped. Build a wall.
It's a perfect story.
Honestly, yeah.
Really?
We'll see if Kwaku mirrors your sentiment. We're going to move on to Jacob Wheeler. Jacob Wheeler, what happened with the Chief Mitiga debacle? To be honest with you, it seems like that whole thing kind of fizzled away. Chai
I wonder if he's
Hodson.
even familiar with this, because that kind of has nothing to do with
It's kind
West
of
Coast
weird
PR, right?
YouTube-y,
No.
yeah.
No
Yeah.
idea.
It's a YouTube thing.
Okay.
There was basically a supposed chief of a tribe of the Ojibwe, which borders the North American border and the Canadian border, that was claiming that his tribe descended from the Israelites and everything, so on and so forth. He became very popular with very conservative members of our faith, but also of the Church of Jesus Christ, our Bicker Tonight brothers and sisters over there in Pennsylvania, and he got baptized in their faith, and we've kind of lost track of them ever since then. But there was some other stuff going on with Zion Media that I don't know all the details to, but I just remember it was freaking weird.
Okay, so wait a minute. You want to hear a very, very cool story then?
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
reminded me of something?
Yeah.
So we were catering parties. We do parties and events for cultural events for these diplomats all the time.
Cool.
And we ended up using a cafe down in Westwood on Westwood Boulevard called the MoMA Cafe. And the MoMA Cafe is a little sweet little Turkish family who works 24/7 in this place. The daughter was in law school. She was about to go to medical school. The son was also in law school. They're working crazy hours in studies in grad school and in these incredible professions they're trying to go into, and they're running a restaurant. So we're using them because my senior missionaries, my volunteers in my office, love that food so much, this Turkish food. They bring it into the office. They hold it for these events, and where I'm like, this is really good. This is really good stuff. So then we start to use them again and again until pretty soon they go, can we come over to your place and just see where... So they come over and watch us and see what's going on because they cater with us. They come over and we do this. We do many events with them. The next missionaries come in. I say, listen, there's a really great restaurant we're using to cater a lot of our events. You need to check it out. Bottom line is the son, after like 3 or 4 years of doing this, the son goes, listen, I got a lot of friends that are in town, and I always tell them that we cater for you guys. You mind if I bring them over to your place? He brought over like 35 friends. First it started with 6, then it
When
went
you
to
say
8.
your place, what do you mean, the visitor center,
The visitor
the
center,
temple?
sorry, yeah.
Wow, okay,
Because
cool.
that's right adjacent to my office.
Yeah.
So he comes over with 6 to 8 friends, and then within a week, he's got 35 guys there. True story. All Turkish. 15 of them got baptized in the church on their own accord. We never said one word because as soon as he came over and said, hey, man, these guys want to find out about the church. And I'm like, so listen, I can't have anything to do with this.
Yes,
I need you to know I have to step back. So anything you do from here on out, it's got to be complete with the missionaries. I can't even know what you're doing because I don't ever want any of these diplomats to think that I have got a bait and switch or a secret agenda that I can't even be involved. So I could not attend any of their teaching. I couldn't even hear about it.
Oh, wow.
Until after the fact. This happened with I got to be careful because it happened with a consul general as well.
Oh, I thought you were about to say congressman. I was
no.
like, yeah.
No.
Hope it was a Democrat. No,
I think a consul general. I think that's a bigger deal.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's an amazing
Congressman,
Absolutely.
whatever.
So we started to we were teaching English as a second language inside of I went to a consulate and said, listen, we teach English as a second language as a gift from our full-time missionaries, and they don't proselytize or indoctrinate. They do nothing other than teach English. So we'll do it wherever you want to. And so a lot of these South American countries and Central American countries, they're so concerned about ICE and immigration that they won't do it outside of their consulate. So I'm like, they'll come to you. So they go, okay, let's do this. Well, the ambassador of El Salvador said, so I understand you're teaching English as a second language in my consulates. I've got 28 of them throughout the United States. I'm like, that's great. And she goes, a former Miss Universe contestant, she goes, so I'd like you to teach in all of them. Can you do that? And I go, okay. She goes, when can you do that? I said, when are you ready? She goes, no, seriously, how long will it take you? And I said, I think it'll take me this week. And she said, no, I'm serious. I have 28. And I said, no, I think this week. If the mission president in that space is available, I'll get him on the phone and we'll have missionaries. And so sure enough,
Dude.
out of one of those consulates, one of the consul generals said, so what are you teaching my people when you're not teaching them English? And they're like, well, we can't really talk about it here in your consulate because that's not what we're here for. And he goes, well, how do I find out? And he goes, well, you can come to our church on a Sunday. He came. And they checked it out 7 weeks later. And the mission president and the missionaries are like, dude, do you know who this guy is? I'm like, listen, I know exactly who he is. He's my guy, but I can't be present. I can't even be near this now. And I'm like, I have this torn thing now because I want so much to be in these lessons and I can't be near him because if it appears as though I have an agenda, I'm done. And so I cannot.
No, but
get close to this.
that's kind of just like it's basically spiritual HIPAA laws.
Yeah.
Is all that is.
That's perfect.
Really.
That's a great
Spiritual HIPAA
great,
laws.
That's
Yeah.
good.
No, but I'm the
That's
exact same
perfect.
way.
Yeah.
No, I'm the exact same way because oftentimes people will start exploring the Book of Mormon in podcast form. It's the great millennial medium, right? How many channels have we seen where people have said, yeah, so I just met missionaries for the first time. I'm reading the Book of Mormon. And like they start analyzing their thoughts. And some of these guys get super hyped up on the gospel. Some of the guys end up like asking a lot of typical Protestant questions. But it's like, I would love to blow them up and bring them up onto my YouTube channel and say, dude, so what'd you think? What was it like? Oh, it's so cool. And I'd love to just like fire them up for the gospel, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, you would never want to inject celebrity into an experience that makes somebody an online persona and public figure for their spiritual inquiry instead of a disciple of Jesus Christ, right?
So the way in which we do this, so when we hold events, cultural events, for example, we held a huge retreat in Hawaii in November, and we have 13 diplomats there, and we've got business leaders that come to this event. I mean, from all over the world. They flew into this place. We hosted them there for 3 days, and during this time, we spent a day of seminars, every hour on the hour. One of these guys is talking about their business and what they do as an influencer, because all of these consul generals are here for 2 reasons. One is to do the paperwork between their country and our country and all the logistics for their foreign nationals. And the other thing they're doing is they're trying to find a way to connect with their country and our country in some form and fashion. So trying to have them do business in our country is crazy. We just introduced the Kazakhstan Consul General to a company out of Utah called Blue Sky that breaks down coal into 5 different elements. One of those is pure diesel. So it's now become this clean energy, and Blue Sky is blowing up. So unbeknownst to us.
But not literally.
Not
just
literally.
figuratively. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's blowing up. Oh my gosh. Get out of there.
So unbeknownst to us, and while we're not in the room, Blue Sky and Kazakhstan have now signed a contract and they're doing business together. We're like, rock
Dang.
on.
All
And the
right,
same thing
cool.
happened in Indonesia and on and on and on. So for us, putting them in this retreat, like in Hawaii, each one of these guys is talking about what they do for a living and their whole expertise. And the consul generals are like, where did you find these people? How did you get these guys? I mean, these guys are the guy that built every Costco in the world was in this room talking about how he does it, why he does it, and where it all comes from. And we're like, this is fantastic.
Wow.
And that's a real guy. He is a member of the church. But it's so fun because each one of those diplomats is like, so your job is what? And I'm like, my job is to make it so that we can say thank you to you. And the way we say thank you is we introduce you to people that may or may not do business in your country. And if they do business in your country, it's on them and on you. We can't have anything to do. So we have no fiduciary connection whatsoever. And as a result, they're like, so there's no conflict of interest on your part. And I'm like, no. When you start talking business, we're out of here. We're out of the room. So on Monday of this week, we had the ambassador of Pakistan that flew into the country with us to be with us for lunch. And while we're at lunch, he and the consul
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. You know,
Solid.
yeah, not bad,
Solid.
not bad.
So he's there and he said, so who do you have? And we had a guy from Back to Life, who's one of the amendment fertilizing experts in the world, the CEO. Then we had the CEO from Sprout Marketing. Then we had another young man who's a venture capitalist. He's with the mayor of New York right now, writing policy and procedure for everything that's happening in New York this second. Then we had Fernando Garibay was there. We had Rick King was there. He's a designer. He's an architect. Next to him, we had Todd Nehera. He's a venture capitalist, and he's a guy that manages huge guns. So all these guys are in this room, and he said, the ambassador literally said, I've been in California for 72 hours, and in these 72 hours, I have met with many, many diplomats, many people of civic origins. This is by far the most remarkable meeting I've had to date. And I'm like,
As long as he's not saying that to everybody else,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
that is actually pretty awesome.
Well,
you know?
I bet they're confused. I bet they're like, wait, so what do you want out of this? They're
That's-
like, nothing.
no,
And they're
they say
like,
this.
okay, but really though.
Okay,
right?
so
Like-
that's okay. Wait, that's another perfect segue because the consul general of Azerbaijan is a great friend, and his vice consul or his acting consul general was here for a period of time, and he got used to the fact that we're doing all this stuff. He's like, so what do you want? And finally, he realized, I'm like, dude, we don't want anything. This is just how we say thank you. So the new consul general comes in, and he goes, okay, so I've been posted in 6 different countries. I've been all over the world. I've never been treated like this anywhere I've gone, never. And I want to know what they want. And the vice consul starts to laugh his head off. He's like, dude, they don't want anything, I promise.
I also don't know what they want.
He's like, no, nothing.
Oh, that's so good.
It is the best. And as a result, Azerbaijan, there's so many great diplomats now that have become close friends because they know that we got no agenda. It's just, hey, we're here to say thank you. That's what we're doing. So it's a blast.
Okay, well, hold on. Now, before you start acting all high and mighty with I know all these people and name dropping and everything, all right?
That's Vuga.
Can you
That's
even
part
point,
of his job.
Can you even point to Azerbaijan on a map?
Hey.
What countries does it border?
Okay, so here, the Caspian Sea, and the reason I know that is because
Dang
I
it,
think of
dude.
the
He
Little-
crushed it, dude.
The Little
Like-
Mermaid, man. She, Ursula sings by the Caspian Sea as part of her song, and I'm like, Azerbaijan.
He
is
is
on the
Disney
Caspian Sea.
proficient and consulate proficient. He speaks the language of the spirit
It's-
and the language of
Hey,
Disney.
It's
Were you
Armenia, Russia, Azerbaijan. It's all right to Georgia. They're all right there together in that little space.
Yeah,
so.
he's got
Carden, it was like you were expecting him to be like, oh, it's just south of Atlanta. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's east of Detroit. You know? So
now,
anyway, okay.
I've got 2 more super chats.
Yes, we got to
That-
burn through these super chats. And Matt,
Sorry.
Matt, you go to your speakers don't go to 11. They go to like 13.
Okay.
So just on the time, we're gonna put like a 30-second cap on some of these answers, bruh. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
So anyway, super
So-
chats. Hit it, my man. Hit it.
Here we go. I'm going to skip ahead to 2 for Jonah really fast. Number 1,
Okay.
FOG Defense says, hey, Jonah, how many hate watchers do you think we have each episode?
You can directly correlate the topics to the amount of hate watchers. If we're talking about anti-Mormons and debunking, those hate watchers come and they help us with the algorithm. And we'd like to say a heartfelt thank you to all of those of you out there who boost us in the algorithm because you hate us.
We couldn't do it without you. Like, we honestly couldn't do it without you.
We're
Oh,
gonna
I couldn't
ask you
imagine.
your best anti-Mormon story before you go too, Matt. It's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be rad, dude.
Next up is CPU Chip. He says, I just joined, so here's a super chat. Jonah, I love your book.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's a very
I'm so
good one.
glad you do. Thank you for giving it a chance. I know people don't have a lot of time, and reading my book takes a lot of time, so I appreciate that.
And then we already read Chai Hodson. This
No,
stream
I'm
is-
going
okay.
back to that one. So,
Okay, perfect.
Chai Hodgson says, this stream is so wild. Brother Ball, which experience has increased your testimony the most?
Oh.
Great question.
This is where we get the warm fuzzies, and they get to quote you in seminary.
Well, yeah, okay, yes. It's the super chat.
Wow.
And if you need to think about it, I'll read another super chat real quick.
Okay,
We can
dude,
have
dude,
everybody.
'cause-
And I'm going to tell Aaron that you
Yeah.
couldn't just
Actually,
recite
no,
something
I can
right
answer it.
there.
I can
Brother
answer the question.
Shrinian's going to be a little
No,
disappointed
I got
in
it.
you.
I got it.
You should
got it.
have
He's
3
good.
stories.
Yeah.
Look, you failed. I'm taking your job.
That's a long pause. Long pause, Matt.
Sorry, there's a lot. Okay, we walked into the consulate of I think I can say this. I walked into the consulate of South Africa with 2 of my senior missionaries.
Oh, wow.
And there was 3 diplomats sitting right there, and the opening statement was, and they had a full spread of food there. It was very lovely, very convivial, just really warm and receiving. And they said, after we sat down and had something to eat, just a quick snack, and they go, we just wanted to begin this conversation by letting you know that we don't see any reason why we're ever going to issue another visa to your church at any given time for anything that you're doing. And this is just a formal occasion to kindly and gently tell you, thank you very much for everything, but we're done, and you're done, and we're never going to have you darken our doors again for our country. And that's the way the conversation began. And I'm like, oh.
Holy cow.
And 2.5 hours later, after I explained everything, but I got to the singular point and said, can I ask a question here? And by the way, if you had taken my jacket off, I was soaking wet.
Oh, I bet.
I was freaked out because I'm like, all right, the church has no idea that we're about done with missionary work in South Africa right now.
Yeah.
And the consul general was out of town, but her staff was there. And I said, can you please give me the example, that is the point, the time, the person in which this happened, that you have now gotten to this place where you see that we're a threat, we're a problem, we're something to your country that you don't want in your space. And she's like, well, not exactly. And I said, no, we want to address it. If there's something that specific that has caused you this kind of reaction, we want to get to that and address it with the people that have perpetrated it, supposedly. So we want to get there. And she's like, all right, we don't have a specific example with your church. And I said, so why is it then that we're grouped into this discussion with you? She goes, because all you American churches come to South Africa for the purpose of hijacking our people. That is kidnapping. That is philandering. That is doing any kind of bad business. I mean, they were so concerned about Americans in South Africa doing bad stuff that she says, you're a part of all of that because you're a religionist. You're one of 600 religions that comes into our country and makes bad. And as a result, you're gone just like everybody else. I said, well, hold on. So as we started to talk, I was so concerned. I grabbed the head of travel and I texted him. I said, Russ, I'm going to put you on the phone here because I want you to hear this. And if you have anything to say, chime in. I got him on the phone. I put him in the middle of the room and I said, feel free to chime in. And then my missionaries are listening to all this. And as we're talking, after 2.5 hours of talking, we got to the place where finally we had explained every single reason why we're in a country and that we have nothing but a desire to build their citizens, build their families, make them stronger people, help them to worship where they are, help them to honor their own constitution, their own government, and to be better citizens all through. And we use the foundation of Jesus Christ as the model by which this is important to us and hopefully to them. And I said, there's nothing forced, nothing it's ever imposed. It's always offered anyway, like a smorgasbord. So in the process of doing this, after 2.5 hours, we finally got to no other explanation. So we started to teach the missionary discussions. We got through like 5 discussions.
What?
Whoa.
And by the 5th discussion, I was getting so emotional that pretty soon I couldn't talk. And I turned to my missionaries. I said, you know what? You know this as well as I do. Why don't you talk? And so my missionary, Val Hale, Val starts to talk, and he starts to go through this, and he's like, yeah, what he said. And then he starts to bear his testimony. And then he starts to continue, and his wife said, you guys are fine. Just keep talking. So Val's bearing his testimony. I'm bearing my testimony. And after all of this, now we're emotional. Now we're like on the edge of really crying. And finally, when we're all done, they said, I tell you what, let us consider this and we'll be back in touch. Now, we knew from church travel that we were with a log jam of visas that had not been released, like over 150. It was a lot. And the following week, they released 35 visas. And the following week after that, another 35. And then pretty soon the floodgates opened up and the missionaries were just walking into
I hope
South
they were
Africa.
all well behaved.
And,
Don't you though?
Seriously,
Yes.
not that bonehead trying to get a car because his rich dad in Sandy said, "When you come back home," and he's like, all throughout South Africa.
it was just South
Okay.
Africa was just being so cautious because they'd been hurt so many times.
Well, Israel's this way
Well,
too.
yeah,
Israel
yeah.
is so pounded by weird evangelization
yes.
from every strange sect that wants to come over from Western Europe and America. I see why their conservative party is just like isolationist because they're like, sorry, you're not going to convert every Jew in
That's right.
Israel to Jews jumping for Jesus. What are you? Okay, no, we're not doing that. You know?
In all fairness to South Africa, I love these people. These are fantastic people, and they treat us like gold. And so our association with them is so decent that I would never want to disparage them because they treat us so well. And by them letting us into the country and having a full access, you're like, all right, I just have to tip my hat to them and say they really came through and love us and treat us with total respect. They're amazing.
And
amazing.
sounds like they really care about the well-being of their people.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's fantastic.
You're right. That's the bottom line. They're protecting their own. So that's probably I came out of there and Val and his wife go, does that kind of meeting happen all the time? And I said, Saul, like, has no idea who they gave this to because I'm like, okay, that could have been the end of missionary work in South
Yes.
Africa. That was frightening. I was so scared.
That's
I'm like,
terrifying.
I take my jacket off and I'm soaked, and he goes, yeah, you're wet. I'm like,
Oh, man.
no, I was scared out of my mind.
You know what it also means, though? In all seriousness, it also means that Jesus Christ cares about his people in South Africa.
Oh.
That was such a spiritual discussion, and things were solved. Look, we want South Africans coming over here and preaching to us. We want to build them up, their own missionary, their own congregations. Absolutely. Like, we don't want them to.
Amen.
I don't know.
See, I'm just embarrassed that you're the one that had to bring it home to the spiritual answer, Jonah. You know,
That's
you'd
an
think that with
amazing
you'd think that with a
story.
high-ranking church official here, we'd all be crying, and he would have just, we got to move on. We got to move on.
Now,
hit it.
so Shai Hodgson, she just responded immediately to
Oh, dear.
that saying,
Okay.
best story ever.
Oh, very cool.
Also reminding us it's pronounced Shai.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
sorry.
The French version
Sorry,
of the
Shai.
Ruin everything.
Okay,
Shai
cool.
Hodgson.
So hit the next 3, my man. Hit the
Yeah,
next
up we got Ryan Osborne. He says, how does one become PR director of the West Coast? Your job just sounds too awesome, man.
Actually-
he needs to know.
Actually, the next 3 super chats are all, how do I become PR director for the Western
No,
United States?
literally, there's another. Canuto de Leon says, how do I become your apprentice for the church PR? Asking for a
Hey,
friend.
we're always looking for interns, and we do pay those interns, so we always are. Absolutely. That's very
hey.
cool. So if they want to call, give us a call down there. Yeah, we're right at the temple. But you know what's funny is I've been asked that question so many times. They go, what's the pathway? How did you get here? And I'm like, dude, I was a dancer. I danced in the movie Footloose. Remember with Kevin Bacon? I was in that movie
Shut
as a
up.
dancer.
Prove it.
I am pics
Prove
or
it.
it didn't
That is
happen.
amazing.
Prove it.
Matt bald.
No, you won't find it that way.
Skinny,
Here. No.
Mormon, dancer, 1981.
No. I'm going to pull it up for you. I will pull it up because
He's posting.
you will not see it if I don't.
He's posting physique.
Bro, this is too fun.
No. So that's how I started, and I thought I was always going to be in the entertainment business. And then when my knees were starting to give me a hard time, I started to write. And because I could tell stories in the dorm room to guys, and they're like, "You totally ruined that movie for me, man. You told the whole story, and it was much better than watching the movie."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, I like telling stories." And so pretty soon, I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, all right. So let's do this."
You could always just text to me, and then I can put it up on Discord, and we'll put it up on the screen.
Okay, I got it. Here it is. I'm going to text it to you.
Is that you right there?
Cool.
Oh, sorry.
So, yeah, what we'll do then is move on to the next super chat while you're pulling that up really fast.
I got
Why don't
you.
you just hit it, my man?
So Mary Lou Howarth asks, do you have a counterpart in Western Canada?
I do. Yeah, it's actually in Canada. Sandra's up there. Yes, and she is the best.
How
Sandra
does she
is the
pronounce sorry and boat?
That's a good question. A boat. Sandra, she not so much. Sandra's really.
boot.
A boot. She's really great.
It's whenever Brad says sorry. The only time you can tell Brad's Canadian is when he apologizes.
Yeah.
I
That's
immigrated when I was like 2, but no American
Kept the sorry.
apologized to me until I was like 17. So my parents, their sorry rubbed off on me. That's all I knew.
You've got it
That's
right
funny,
now.
that's
You've got it right now.
funny.
It's the Footloose Dancing at the Drive-In Scene. Footloose 1984
yes.
Dancing at the Drive-In
Oh
Scene.
my
This
god!
this is what
By
we
the
came
way,
here to
this
see.
is a cool thing because this is the night this was filmed was the night that my wife had our second baby. So I still look like a little kid here, but anyway, our second baby was born on this night, and I've got my Letterman jacket on. You'll see my tennis shoes first, my old Nikes, and then it pulls up my legs and it pulls back, and I'm playing an old Galaga game, and I'm like, and I make some really stupid wow sound at the video game, which is
You've got a
embarrassing.
line too?
Wait, okay, we're watching this, bro.
I got a residual check from Footloose just last week. It's a true story.
Dude, this is
No, I did.
This is going down. Here we go. Here it is, dude.
We need to change the thumbnail now.
Dude, okay, wait. Oh, I forgot.
Footloose.
This is Footloose. They're going to copyright strike us, so give it a pause.
They are going to copyright strike. It's true.
I'm about halfway through this.
We got the guy right here. They can't copyright strike us. We got him.
Okay.
This is his movie.
No. So is it past this, bro?
I just passed that, yeah. It's right past this. Here it comes. Let's see.
Okay, hold on.
I think.
There you are.
Hey,
That
everyone's
was
having a great time.
No, you're going to see a guy at a hamburger. He's at the grill cooking. That's my choreographer. Sure.
Oh,
we passed
dude,
it. Sorry.
Oh, I'd be past
Hang
it.
on. I'm going to get to it so you can get there. Okay, here it is. It's right at. I'll pull it up. It's 50
seconds.
50. It's 50.
Oh, it's 50.
50
Okay, so
seconds.
here it is, right there. Here it is.
This is my choreographer, Craig Call. That's doing that. Now here I am, right here.
Oh,
shoot,
yeah.
dude.
Matt.
Look at, dude, those jeans
Get
are
it.
tight, bro. Did
Get
you
it.
paint those on?
Matt, those moves.
Did you hear him? Look at that.
Did you hear that?
Woo! I did. Dude.
He's like,
look at that. Pow!
That's
This
awesome.
is an
Bro.
embarrassing thing to do, right?
that was awesome.
The
Bro,
director
can my
goes-
wife borrow your pants, dog? You know, like those are some tight jeans, bro.
So- well, that's all I thought I was going to do was dance the whole. I thought I was dancing the rest of my life. And short story is I ended up keeping my marriage together by going to Colorado and working in construction. And I won my Rachel and then brought her back to L.A. and we went to grad school here at the AFI, the American Film Institute. So I got my grad degree there in writing and motion picture, and then we stuck around and I worked at Disney for about 4 or 5 years, and then I worked at DreamWorks when DreamWorks was not even on the lot. It was Spielberg, Katzenberg, Geffen, my boss, Chip Sullivan, and me standing on a pad of dirt in Glendale saying, this is where we're building the studio, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, because my boss's best friend or right hand was Jeffrey Katzenberg. So I sat there right next to him and he goes, hey, get this done. And Chip goes, hey, Matt, get this done. So I was the guy that was Resources Inc. So any special project that they did, anything that went on from any of those guys, I was their special projects guy. So it was basically anything they needed, anytime, anywhere, 24/7 on the clock. So I remember sitting on the stand, actually. I was Bishop at the time, and I had on a pager. That's how old I am. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden my pager goes off, and it's Jeffrey Katzenberg's office. And I go,
Oh, shoot.
so we're done taking the sacrament. I said, listen, I love you guys. It's all yours. I got to go. And I stepped out the side door of the chapel, answered the call, and I'm off to work. And that happened on a constant basis because it was 24/7 all the time. And they're relentless. So I thought I was just going to do that. And then I did that for 10 years. And then after doing that, I accidentally got scooped up into this, and I never intended to do this. Never.
So are you
planned
the
on
guy on the left or the right?
Oh no, I'm not in there. Not until that video game. That's where you see me.
Wait,
He's playing.
he's the one playing the video game,
Yeah,
right?
right
That's
there.
you.
That's me.
his
yeah.
legs.
Yeah, loving that hair, bruh. Loving that hair, dog.
And then you
It's
see
so
me at the
good.
very
Look at
end.
his moves.
man.
Look at his moves.
I'm
His legs
feeling
are
the
just-
moves. Look at that. Look, he's shaking bacon right there. Boom.
And he goes, wow.
And then at the very
Yeah,
end, you
dude.
see me flip around because John Lithgow comes on and he flips off the music and we all go, and we all turn around and so you see my face one more time. But yeah, there it is right there.
Dude, man.
Look at that.
that's
Look at the
cool,
moves.
bruh. That's cool. Look at that. Oh, he's doing the running man and a little bit of, he's practically crip walking right there.
And that is a
Look at
fun
dude, man,
arcade
you know?
game. That is a fun arcade game right there.
Oh no, but the very cool thing is that I really do get residual checks. I got one last week. It's like $49 or something. But I'm like, can you imagine what Kevin Bacon is getting in a residual?
Oh, yeah.
It's
geez,
gotta be thousands just on Footloose alone.
Wait, so did you
Speaking
name
of
that
Kevin
baby?
Bacon, this
you are
might-
now 1 degree away from Kevin Bacon, by the way.
Yes! Which leads directly into this super chat from Minor Prophet Ian Malcolm. He says, so if he's ever met the prophet, then President Nelson is also included in the 6 degrees of separation
Kevin
from Kevin
Bacon.
Bacon. But you're saying maybe just 1 degree.
Yeah, we've shaken hands.
Hey.
He would not be able to pick me out of a lineup, but we have shook hands before. Yeah.
Rock on. That's cool, man. That's
Beautiful.
cool. Next super chat. Hit it, brother.
Okay, so next up we have
By the way, weak sauce turnout by the Antis. Very predictable 1978 question.
Yeah.
Weak sauce, how is Ward Radio paid? Next
guy-
thing say, are you aware that Captain Kidd and the Solomon Spaulding transcript were the true
Yeah.
inspiration for the Book of Mormon? So I just got to say, weak sauce turnout by the anti-Mormons. Predictable questions from the spiritual crowd. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, what's your favorite church PR story? Okay, that was cute.
Sorry.
Mary Lou, usually you've got like 10 memberships you've given people by now. So step up. No,
She asked the Canada thing. In fact,
totally
let's
just
do some
kidding.
W's in the chat because Kyle Carlson has gifted 5 Ward Radio memberships. So everyone, please.
Mary Lou, Kyle's taking over your job.
Yeah.
She asked about Canada. She gave us a good thing.
Hey, you want to keep her calling his word
Oh, by the way,
missionary?
her
You
name
got
is
to post.
Sandra. Sandra Palin is her name up in Canada. Sandra Palin.
Now, we need to have 5 W's in the chat for all those memberships just gifted. Now,
Well, Ward
let's
Clerk
see.
has to do his job. You have to
sorry.
welcome to the ward. Joe.
All those of you who would like to welcome these 5 brothers and sisters into the Ward Radio worship, please do so by the uplifted W.
We are going to put 5 W's in the chat.
Thank you.
Yes, uplifted W's.
Thrilled
in the
to have you
chat.
here. We're also looking to call somebody to be Ward mission leader because Mary is not doing her job tonight.
Yeah. Just,
You know,
we're going to have to talk to the relief
You got to
Society.
produce, or else.
Or
just
else-
kidding.
Oh,
Mary.
no,
just
she just sent 10 Ward Radio gift
No, Mary, no. Mary, we're just kidding.
Mary,
We're just
don't
kidding.
let Carton do this to you.
Look, I'm working hard. We got to pay the bills. Give, baby, give.
10 W's in the
The
chat.
baby's got to live.
No, Mary, we're just kidding.
That's funny,
Oh my
dude.
gosh.
That is hilarious. Welcome, everybody, to the Ward Radio Wigwam. You guys are great. Yeah. Oh, I didn't
10x
see
the
that.
W.
By the way,
Now-
I realized I forgot to play the bumper music for the sports thing. We're going to play that
very
later
cool.
on. But yeah, catch us up on Super Chats,
Yeah.
Brad. We'll
So,
burn through these.
Thrice says Jonah freaking Barnes is favorite. Keep it up.
Wow, what's the French,
Nice.
guys?
Yeah.
I don't speak French.
It was in quotation marks, which makes
a
it
little
German
harsh language. My
instead of
children
French.
watch the show, so
Yeah.
let's calm it down.
Okay, yeah.
Next up, Scott Nelson says, have y'all seen people saying that we can only have caffeine since the church bought stock in Coca-Cola, which I don't think is true? That's a new one, haha.
Yeah, so how do you feel about the
I've never
enormous
heard that.
wealth of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and their stock portfolios?
How do I feel about the wealth?
Oh my gosh, Carton. You're like, let me step in.
Let's go through.
I'm trying to do the anti's jobs. Like they're
it's really
sucking
sad.
with these. Like it's
Okay,
It's
speaking
kind of
of-
pathetic. They
Where
didn't
are
go
they?
for the.
So,
they didn't go
Carton-
for the jugular. They got the PR guy right here.
Right here.
And they didn't go for the jugular. They
So-
went for like.
But I can give you a
Wait,
story
Carton,
about somebody that did go for that wanted to go for the jugular that I met with, one of the senators here in California. Great guy down in Torrance. And we met for lunch one day, and we spent the first 30 minutes of our talk was
State senator.
State senator, sorry. And we were just completely all about lunch and having a good time. And then he says, so tell me about your association with the LGBT community. And I'm like, oh, so what do you want to know? And by the time we were done, after 2.5 hours of talking, he's like, so I think we need to get you with the head of the LGBT community so that we can have a conversation. I'm like, let's do that. Let's get that done. I love this. This is great. And he goes, no, because everything that you just got through telling me is nothing that they believe or think about you. Nothing.
Yes.
I bet
it's a big problem.
They are completely convinced that you hate them. And I'm like, what are you talking about? My nephew's gay. My best friends are gay. I work with gay guys all day long.
Dance. This is you. You look gay. Like, I mean, this is you in the. Like, are you kidding me? Like, bro, this is rad. Look, I'm a huge Gene Kelly fan, but I'm saying nowadays
he has Hasselhoff hair though.
I get it, but like it's a farce, man. It's such a crappy anti-Mormon trope that Mormons hate gay people. I can't stand that crap.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Having grown up in Los Angeles, it's one of the most cruel pejoratives that really frustrates me.
True. I totally agree.
And Matt feels me on this one, dude.
And we've covered it on this channel. We've debunked it on this channel.
But wait, we got to go back to the David Hasselhoff comment because somebody else said that to me, and I'm like, they're going like, dude, you look like his brother, and I'm like, that's funny, that's really cute, that's so nice. So we're at the mall over in Woodland Hills, and I'm about to step onto the escalator, and
step in like you were stepping here,
and David Hasselhoff steps off, and we stop and we face each other face to face, and my wife is standing right there, and she goes, "Yep, you guys look like brothers." She says it to him, and he's like, "Hey, Bones." And it was just like that, and we left.
By the way, David Hasselhoff, super cool guy that has helped out the LDS Church with fundraisers.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's friends with several Mormon actors that when they've needed Boy Scout troop fundraisers and there were silent auctions, he signed shirts.
That's awesome.
And I have one in. Oh my gosh, I actually have one. I was going to wear it for a music video. I have it in the wardrobe closet. That's probably behind the A6400 cameras. I might be able to grab it if we ever have just like a moment where I can escape to it. But yeah, he would sign things for. Yeah.
Are you certain it wasn't just Matt?
Yeah. Are you positive?
That's quick.
That
That's
it wasn't
very quick.
Matt is not fitting into David Hasselhoff's pants. There's no way,
Or
Matt.
maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah, like I'm not seeing hooked on a feeling. Do, do, do. Yeah, there we go. Okay, next super chats. Burn through the next three, bro. And burn through the next three.
Super chats. FOG Defense hit 13 months as a member of the channel. Ooh. Congratulations. And he also says the church will apologize for that issue when the evangelical Protestants in their collective entirety apologize for the KKK, their treatment of blacks, and all LDS members during the same time.
Whoa.
Read the Mormon Menace and the treatment of Southerners towards members of the church in the South.
Wow. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a complicated thing. Now, Cardin, to Dan Bronson's defense, he actually sent another super chat, which might change your view of him just a little. He says, okay. I guess the Cheeto dust is going to stay on my chin, wink.
No, not your chin. It was on your shirt. No, your chin was
fingers.
fine.
I think you said fingers.
Okay.
Bummer that serious issues aren't addressed by official folks. Still appreciate your show.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Such a bummer.
Such
a bummer.
Never mind,
entire gospel topics essays have been written by it. No, never addressed. No, okay, whatever. We'll keep going.
Getting charter planes for people to fly, human trafficking, these aren't serious issues?
Yeah,
anybody else think these are serious issues? I think it's kind of serious.
I think he's just got an expectation that he wants like an official person to say an official thing and not to have something like the
for
gospel
the millionth
topics
time.
Okay,
but
here,
I think something like the NAACP and their recent things that they're doing with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they're going to be having a painting of Joseph Smith and Russell M. Nelson put on their wall. Do you think that is not indicative of a changed relationship enough for you? Like, I think it's a fascinating thing to think about. And maybe, I mean, Dan, you specifically, I think you seem more honest than Cardin may have construed. But I think that it's something where, I don't know. I feel like the gospel topics essays have been there to help people, and it's helped a ton. Matt, you seem to have something you wanted to add?
No, I was going to say, if you want to know any answers to those things, go to the LDS newsroom. And on the newsroom website, look up that topic that you want an answer to, and there's extensive answers to everything. I mean, just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on there. Newsroom puts a tremendous amount of time and resources in that, so it's a very cool thing.
By the way, I doubt Matt Ball can outdo Russell M. Nelson and his speech at NAACP headquarters.
I don't think so.
So, dog. But enjoy the Cheetos. You know what I'm saying? But enjoy the Cheetos, dog. Sorry. Matt, no, we got Matt here. We got to elevate our vibe. to match his pants in Footloose and his suit in 2024. Great suit, great tie, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Awesome tie.
Don't you love how the 90s are coming back? Like, that looks like it was straight out of your closet from 1993, and it just sat there
Jerry
until
Garcia.
2025 came back, and now it's stylish again, bro. You're like avant-garde in 4 different decades, dude. This is freaking
He's got
rad.
a full head of hair and a bright smile. He can wear any tie he wants.
Hobnobbing with like general consoles of this, general consoles of that. Oh yeah, never mind. I just hang out with Katzenberg and Spielberg and Footloose this, Footloose that.
They also couldn't pick me out of a lineup now. So.
Yeah, well, my kids are top of their class at USC.
But you know when he had the chance to say, "Oh yes, me and Russell Nelson are good buddies," he said, he passes me in the hallway and goes, and that's it.
Yeah.
He had his chance to be like, "Oh yes, of course."
You back down. You're
would
not
know.
getting that red chair, bro. You should be gunning for that red chair. You work at church PR, bro.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So no, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I've got another. Travik says, very nice of a church official to hand deliver your checks this month.
Where's my money?
That's good.
Where's my money? Come on, name the movie. Name the movie. I just made a good movie reference.
Oh, where's my money? That's
Show me the money.
Oh, that's Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
good
that,
job. Good job.
Yeah, I'll need that.
Okay, cool.
Tom Cruise. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
Quatiches says, I just got called to teach gospel doctrine. Next year is Old Testament. How do I teach the lesson on how great Hezekiah and Josiah are? How knowledgeable is the COB, church office building, correlation, etc.?
Ooh, yes. So,
Interesting.
This was covered in my first book there, The Key to the Keystone, about the Josiah reforms. And I quote the church's own website saying Josiah was this great king. That narrative is perhaps somewhat in question. I have my own personal beliefs on it, but the point is just find Jesus Christ. Find Jesus Christ. Don't get too distracted with who was king or when they were king or what the reforms, whatever. Find Jesus Christ in it. There's a reason we have the Book of Mormon. You know, find Jesus in there. You'll be all right.
Yep.
Get on the Discord. We talk about the Josiah reforms all the time, by the way, on the Discord.
Yeah, they're a fascinating thing, and I think Jonah's counsel is really sound. If you are focused on Christ, your lesson's going to go just fine.
That's the point. That's the whole point.
Yeah, because there's so much that we just can't know, right? Like, part of me, when we ever talk about this, it's like, well, I mean, was Josiah a wicked person, or was he surrounded by wicked people that were doing some wicked things, right? Like, we know that Jerusalem falls, like during the incredibly short reigns of his sons, right? So something's going on. We don't know exactly what's going on, but we got Jeremiah, Lehi calling these people to repentance. And so, like, it's interesting, but at the core, we focus on Christ.
Find Jesus Christ.
Okay, we got 6 minutes left here.
Okay, wait, so I
6
just-
minutes.
I just sent you a picture because this last Christmas we had our Christmas gala. We always have a special program, and we had Dylan Bayless and Amy Shreve Keeler singing. And at that event, we had a gentleman by the name of Carl Dickerson who brought his dear friend Clarence Jones, who was the attorney for Martin Luther King. He was the guy that wrote the I Have a Dream speech. He came to that meeting. He's sitting in the room with us, and after the entire experience is over, he's sitting in the back, and I went back to introduce myself to, Carl was my friend. And so Carl goes, Matt, I want you to meet Clarence Jones. And he's so emotional. He can't talk. He can barely look at me. And he's totally teary-eyed, and he goes, okay, I'm pretty ticked off. I'm pretty upset. And I'm like, okay, what can I do to help? And he goes, no, I'm upset because I'm 93 years old, and I absolutely did not know that this spirit existed in your church. I didn't have any idea that this is what you were all about. And he's like, I'm going to tell all my friends. He said, you know T.D. Jakes down in Texas? I'm calling T.D. Jakes and telling him right now that he's got it all wrong about you guys because this spirit and what you guys are saying here is better than anything I've ever known about you. And he said, I'm just upset because I'm 93, almost 94, and my whole life has been spent thinking that you were the enemy and you're the bad guys. And he goes, I feel completely different. I said to Dylan Bayless and Amy, they go, so what if we had a meeting a week later in Salt Lake with some of the African-American leaders, like Amos Brown that was with Russell Nelson, right? We're all there together with this fabulous room of leaders. And I'm like, so can you guys come to Salt Lake next week? So why don't you come and we'll have Amy and Dallin come again. And they sang the song, the prayer, and it was so emotional and so fantastic. We recreated the entire spirit of that night at the visitor center, had him there, and then afterwards, I had him sitting right next to Elder Stevenson. And Elder Stevenson, he goes, I have never felt this way before in my life. I'm telling everybody in the world, I'm going to call every black man in America who's a preacher and say, you got it wrong about the Mormons. I'm going to help you to understand what I now know. And that's what he was pointing at Elder Stevenson, telling him this when we were in Salt Lake, and that's what happened when we were up there. And that's the picture that I sent to you, Cardin. So he was like in this room going, I cannot believe your church. I've never had this experience in my life. And we're like, wow, what a beautiful man. What a beautiful experience, man.
Church is in good hands.
All
Church
right.
is in good hands.
Okay. Really fast before we go, I have to make good on my promise as you're racking up those last 4 super chats, Brad. Here is your gift because our audience came up with 10 super chats. I assumed you were a large, extra large flex fit, but this is a War in Heaven veteran hat. Can you explain to him what's up there, Jonah? Show him the deal here.
So on the side right here, we have the plan of salvation that runs across. You can tell that the plan of salvation. It should it should be up,
Of course.
And then over here, this is the flag of the Nauvoo Legion, and you are actually a first class body recipient and a fine dancing body you have. So there you go. So it's a flex fit for you. That's your War in Heaven.
You're a War in
veteran
Heaven
hat.
veteran.
Thank you very much.
Veteran.
This is cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
We love it.
Boom,
Bringing it.
shakalaka right there.
One of us. One of us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Love it.
All right, keeper of the chats, my man, hit
Yes.
us.
So Kyle Carlson says, okay, did he almost take the lead from Kevin Bacon? Also, you need a retired military apprentice? I'm asking for a balding War in Heaven veteran, also retired Navy.
That's really funny.
Now, did
He's
you
your
name
guy.
that baby Kevin Bacon Ball that night?
Brittany Ball. Brittany, her nickname is
Brittany
B.
Ball.
And
nice.
she's got 4 kids now. So I've
Ball.
got 7 kids. What am I saying? This has been a while ago. So yeah.
7 kids.
awesome, dude.
Irresponsible.
Yeah. Same wife, 7
Irresponsible.
kids, 44 years. Bam.
Rock on,
And
dog.
another Kevin Bacon thing, Mary Nauta says, accidentally didn't leave this in the chat. She added it later. Kevin Bacon's dance double in Footloose actually directed Meet the Mormons.
No, he did not.
Is that not true?
That's not true.
Oh, so is that
No. You're thinking of his stand-in. It wasn't his. It was his stand-in. That was Blair True. He was the director, and he was the stand-in in Footloose. And yes, the answer is
I didn't know that.
yeah, absolutely. And Blair True just did another one. He did the film called Sharing Aloha about the PCC, the Polynesian Cultural Center. And I just invited the Consul General of Tonga up in San Francisco. And I said, let's bring your whole community together. We had a special screening up in the Bay Area, and I had her host it. So I had her come and say, this is my community, this is my people, and this is a movie about our people. And I had her get the spotlight because we wanted her to be in front of her community and say, this is my diaspora, this is what I do. And we're like, no, I want you to be a hero. And she's like, and I said, no, this is your chance to stand in the spotlight and say, these are my people, this is for you. And so we showed the movie Sharing Aloha that's coming out in September. Blair True directed Meet the Mormons and this one. And everybody in the theater is crying by the time this thing is there because it's so phenomenal.
Dude.
And the key player is Tongan.
He is awesome. I love Blair. He was my director for the Book of Mormon video I was in.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Blair is awesome.
He's
I know.
fantastic.
We've known each other ever since Footloose, so that long ago.
Have you guys ever
that's
seen?
awesome.
Oh, no.
Have you guys ever seen Goodfellas?
No.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
fellas.
no, I would never watch a rated R movie.
I mean,
with the
look,
head
just
of PR
what I've
here,
heard.
like,
It's just what I've heard about Goodfellas.
who does that?
Okay, Robert De Niro's character, who's always just like connecting people.
Yeah.
He's always like, I got somebody's got some nice dresses. Why don't you go get some dresses for my friend over here? Like, why don't you like? He's like the bizarro Robert De Niro from Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Right.
That
Like the
also looks like the
non-nefarious.
dad of who's the cartoon character with a really good swooshed hair on Cartoon Network? Johnny Bravo.
No. There's Johnny Bravo.
Is it Johnny Bravo? I can't remember.
Who's the
which one
kid?
it
Who's
is.
the genius kid? Who's it?
Will
Dexter?
Hastings? Will
Dexter. I kind of feel like I'm getting some Dexter vibe.
Dexter vibe here.
Wasn't Dexter a
Oh,
serial
dear.
killer?
No.
different Dexter.
Dexter's Lab, man. Come on.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know Cartoon Network.
Cartoon
well enough, apparently.
Cartoon Network's Dexter is not the serial killer.
Oh, okay, cool. So hit us with the last 3 super chats.
okay.
We're already 1 minute into
We
overtime.
got 4. Okay. Christopher Rogers says the antis have to stay away because you're showing Footloose and they can't have dancing. Yeah.
That's true. Anti-Mormon rule number 3 is they always lose their sense of humor. I think it is, and that's all we got.
And a sense of humor is required to dance, I guess.
Well, to also dance in front of a video game console that has a reflection of what you look like. That also requires a really good sense of humor.
It requires
Boom.
that
Yeah,
particular
there he is,
sound
baby.
right there.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
He's got it down.
Dude,
Okay.
you are never living this down.
Of course not.
There's
It's
gonna be
amazing.
Why
some
would
guy-
he want
Hey,
to?
wait,
This
wait.
is awesome.
I have to tell you how that happened. I'm in Salt Lake, and we're with every single director of public affairs around the entire world, and they go, okay, so today's exercise is, and this is like 15 years ago, they said, you have to tell us something about yourself that nobody else knows. I'm like, oh, okay. So I pulled up that clip, and I said, here, just play this clip. And everybody's watching, like, what? And so later on, like 6 years later, we had to go up and give our our idea about what our area looks like and what it's all about. They said, and the theme of this is we are one. So what are you going to do? So I had my overcoat on, and I had a big dollar sign that was a big gold dollar sign chain around my neck. And I took my hat and I pulled it backwards and I put on my sunglasses and I got up and I gave the Highway 1 rap about California, that we are one on Highway 1. And I did this whole rap in front of the entire.
Well, what was it, dog?
I don't have it with me now. I don't remember it, but it was embarrassing.
Lame.
And they stood up, and every general authorities in the room going, okay, I'm nervous because he's our guy in California.
This is
If that rap didn't make them nervous, this live stream will. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to know what to do with you, dog. But no. You look like you were the man for the task.
Yeah.
So
that's
fun.
funny.
Okay.
I honestly, I thought the film industry was the best job. This is by far the best job I've ever had in my life. It
sounds
blast.
amazing.
That's
it
awesome.
is.
Okay, hit it, Brad. Hit it.
Okay, Polynike's 2000. He says, question, Matt. Do you have any opinions on which generation of sociopaths contributed to the denigration of America and its socioeconomics and culture?
I have covenanted Polly to not mention the boomers in their full capacity of. Oh, shoot.
Polly.
Dang it. You got me.
have to reset the sign.
You got me. Where is it? We got to reset the sign. We got to reset the sign.
We should get an actual sign.
We have an actual sign.
Austin has
Carden
an actual
has
sign.
a habit of blaming the boomers for everything.
Look, I just wonder if they've given up on North America, but apparently they haven't, because they sent Matt Ball to do the job. So I stand corrected.
Hey, boomers made Footloose.
Bam.
Hey, there you go.
Music,
Boomers made Footloose.
You know,
Greatest movie. It's Peter Quill's favorite movie.
and it's all pre
1983. It was the top 10 movies in 1983.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great year.
And what's funny is that when I was in the film, I was like, I'm so nervous about this thing. You don't know all right, this is worth telling you. My friend, who was the guy that was the chef in that movie that was dancing, he goes, hey, Matt, there's a tryout for a film up here in Utah, and it's Fame 2, so you need to come back up. I was in California at the time. I was doing some choreography for a group, and I was down there working, and he goes, no, just come on up and try out for this group. So I came up, and I didn't know anything other than, all right, Craig told me to come, I'm coming. And I came, and he goes, just come dressed. Let's just walk in dressed so we can dance right immediately. So we walk in the door, and as we walk in, I'm with the whole group of dancers, there's 5 guys who I'm with. We walk in, and she's like, yeah. And I walk in, and so pretty soon they're immediately doing the dance that they had done at the first tryout, which I didn't know. There was a 400-person cattle call that they were all at. So now there's like 27 people in the room, maybe 25. And I go, oh, geez, they're all dancing. I don't know the song. So I went right behind them really quick and started to learn the number, and I was dancing away. And then as I'm learning, all of a sudden the girl at the door walks up, and she goes, were you here at the first tryout? And I'm like, no, I didn't know this wasn't the first tryout. And she says, oh, you can't be here. I got a line of people out in front that are waiting to get in. You got to wait your turn, then you can come back in and try. And I said, well, you know what? I don't know the number. I don't know the dance at all, but I'm going to learn it really quick so that I've got it, so that when they need to show it, I can jump back in and just start dancing. And she goes, well, everybody wants to do that, so you're going to have to go out and wait. And I said, well, since I'm here, rather than create a problem and a hassle, I'm just going to stay and finish. And she's like, no, you can't be here. And I said, it's okay. It's going to be fine. Just let me finish this.
It's PR. It's PR practice.
She's like, no, you can't stay. And I said, I'm going to stay. At which point, my choreographer goes, and I'm out. And he walks to the corner of the room. He's like, this guy's getting thrown out. So she walks over to the bouncer that's at the door, and I'm just jumping behind the people trying to learn this dance really fast. And all of a sudden, I'm trying not to look at her, pretending I don't see her, and she's walking over with the security guard. It took her a while because they had to stop everybody from getting in the door. She comes walking over, and as she's walking over, I'm like, oh, he's going to grab me, and he's going to grab me by the neck and throw me out of here. And as he walks right up to me, in walks the choreographer, and she says, all right, let's go, everybody. Count off in groups of 4. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. What's your name? I said, Matt. She goes, great, Matt, you're number 3. And then she goes, all right, everybody go. Let's see group 1. And the guy backed up, and he's looking at me like, I'm taking you out of here. It's going to be 2 seconds, so I'm taking you out. And so each group did the number, and I stood behind him learning. Each time each group went out, I was standing behind him. And everybody else thought, oh, he's trying to get in good by dancing behind every group. So pretty soon, everybody's dancing behind every group. And I'm like, I'm just trying to learn the dance. Until pretty soon, our group comes up. And after I go, the choreographer and the assistant choreographer goes, hey, do you have anything on you? You got a bio, a photo, anything? I'm like, yeah. So I went over to my backpack, grabbed it, and I said, here. He goes, who do you dance with? And I'm like, that's my choreographer over there. And he goes, all right, go back out there. So we did the dance 2 more times, and we did it. It was easily maybe 10 minutes for the whole thing. And she goes, all right, that's it. That's a wrap. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. They shut that room down, and it was done. And 3 days later, I got a letter that said, welcome to Footloose. And my wife's like, and they're still paying residuals for that.
And they're still paying residuals from it. And
was
that's
crazy.
Awesome.
And you're paying us for this live stream.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry, we're
Love
late.
it.
We're late.
I feel like I owe Sony money at this point, you know? If it's not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it's, who was it, Paramount? I don't know who made Footloose.
Paramount.
But it was Paramount?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Rock
Herb
on.
Ross directed it. Yeah.
So, all right, last 3 super chats, and then we will just, we'll make good on our promise. I told them it wouldn't go longer than 90 minutes. Now it's 97 minutes.
Worth it, though.
You
Worth
know?
it, though.
And so hit us, Brad.
Okay, FOG Defense, he says, I think I know Sandra. Also, shout out to Malcolm and Helen Warner and my EQ president, Bro Sprickerhoff.
Malcolm is awesome. We love Malcolm. I'm on with him every week. Yeah, he's great. He's from England. He's my counterpart. What I do in England, that's a Malcolm Adcock.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
How many of you are there?
There's about 27 of us around the world, and then each one of us has their assistants and groups within their offices. But it's just me and senior missionaries in my office, but other offices have other counterparts in their office.
Wow.
They've got a second, but I don't have a second.
Church is in good
Rock
hands.
on. That's cool. That's cool.
That's awesome, bro.
So
now,
hit it.
Mike Bell says, man, am I ever glad I caught this. Outstanding.
What up, Mike?
Yeah,
cool.
dude, these stories are so good, man.
That's
They're
awesome. That's awesome.
Then Darren Brower, new rule, Thursdays lives must move to a new time slot equaling after kids are in bed. I keep missing these. Arr.
Sorry, Dan, but you're doing the work of God, brother. It's
true.
Doing the work of God,
true.
brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You're
hit it, my man.
birthing future Ward Radio fans.
Yes.
Get more of them. Get more of them, dog. In fact, if you order a hat today, I'll sign it and I'll send something else cool for one of your kids, bro. Just remind me in the little messages thing that I promised you that during the live stream.
Were you going to play our bumper music from our diplomacy through
as
sports?
we're reading the last super chat,
Go ahead,
will.
Carden. You got this. You got
Okay,
this.
cool. So if I'm not mistaken, this is it for the last super chat, all right? And this is the diplomacy through sports, right?
Yeah, that's it. This is
Brilliant
called,
idea.
It's called Game Changer.
Pursue. It takes stamina in you.
Okay, cool.
In the darkness, there's a fight. But in you, there is a light.
Oh, it's like the Olympics are starting, bro.
Yeah, right.
Game changer.
Whoa! Or a
laugh.
video game with an evil laugh.
Dig deep, push through, hold on.
Well, it's so ESPN.
It really is, yeah.
You can do it, you can choose it, you're the one.
Yeah, baby.
It's almost done.
Push through, hold strong.
All right.
We're almost there. It's coming up.
Hold strong. To be a game changer.
Okay, you know what I realized?
Cool, very cool.
We missed it. We missed something here. I think the song actually
Can
trends
sync to
with. I think it
yes,
syncs.
to the diner
I
dance.
think it syncs, bro. There it is. See? Oh, there it is.
Stamina in you.
Yeah.
In the darkness, there's a fight.
To
But
play
in
Gallagher.
you, there is a light. To be a game changer.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
It works with Footloose.
Dig deep, push through, hold on. You can do it, you can choose it, you're the one.
You guys are
Dig deep, push through, hold strong.
Oh, look! It hit with the beat! Hit with the beat!
Oh, he turned off the music.
Hold strong.
Lithgow's here.
A game changer.
He didn't want us
Oh,
to be game
look
changers.
at that. And
Oh,
it ends
wow.
right as she's about to get
Brilliant.
reprimanded. Bro, you
Brilliant.
didn't know that,
Hey, that
you
was-
just did a remix.
Jonathan Keith did the composition on that. He's awesome. I did the
Oh,
lyrics.
dear.
He did the composition.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do we have any last super chats before we go, bro? The last one.
Did you get it?
No, you can say it, bro. You
Okay.
have the honors. my
I can
friend.
say it. I can
Yes.
say this. Okay. The last one from Kyle Carlson says, Matt Ball for profit 2030.
Oh
my gosh.
That's hilarious.
It's like,
Don't tell President Nelson, man.
Dude, bro, you
Do
might
you-
be the only guy in PR that's not gunning for the red chair, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, go for it,
No, no.
dog.
it's like, guys, you don't know how this works,
Yeah,
do
he's
you?
He's like, oh, no.
this is not a campaign.
No, total autonomy right here. We stay in California. We get to do what we want to do.
That's right.
I think the church is the greatest engine for good on the planet.
Boom.
There's 27 guys like this running everywhere, just connecting people and doing good things and not expecting anything back. I
really
love
cool.
being a
That's
member of this church.
fantastic.
You know, even
That's
if
awesome.
it wasn't true, even if it was all a fraud, I still would love the church. It's a bonus that it actually is true and is the kingdom of God on the earth. But
Speaking of frauds, are you aware of the Solomon Spaulding transcript and the correlation that exists between Captain Kidd novels and the view of the Hebrews?
yes,
And-
why haven't you addressed this?
And are you ready to write an apology, a formal apology for the fact that Hiram might have gone to Dartmouth? Okay, that is too
that's
funny.
hilarious.
All right, well, dude, you're a riot, bro. You're
was
a
so
riot.
fun.
Are you going to come
So
out and hang out
fun.
with us again?
Hey, thanks for having me. That was a blast. It was a great time. I
And
really-
Aaron,
really was. This is
Aaron, you
really
got to
good.
let him come back,
missed
bro.
out.
You got to let him come back, Aaron. Don't put a kibosh on this Sharinian.
Aaron, you
know?
missed out bad. You
You better be here next time, dog.
You know he's watching.
This was a party, man. This was
Yeah,
good.
it was a party. Oh, hey, look. Quaker shows
Speaking of
up.
parties,
You missed out,
Dude,
bro.
you missed
our
Quaker.
resident party thrower.
Yeah, our resident party thrower. So, Matt, before we go, you get to formally meet Kwaku L. All right. He's here, large and in charge, and unfortunately had some business to attend to. So you're going to meet him after the live stream.
Katzenberg paged him.
Yeah, for real. It's a tough life.
Yeah,
it's a tough life being a big deal. But anyway, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for wearing these pants at timestamp 50. Just remember that, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing you need to remember is timestamp 50 on movie clips. Dancing at the drive-in scene. That's all you need to know.
There's
that
one
footwork.
other thing to remember.
What are things that? What is
To
it? What is
like
it?
and subscribe.
Yes. In fact,
If you like what you heard.
all right, rock on. So, guys, please like this stream before you leave. Thank you to everybody who has given us a super chat, everybody who's commented. We had almost 1,000 viewers on this stream.
Wow,
Nice,
great.
Concurrent
nice.
simultaneously. Yeah, already with almost 3,000 views. Pretty good stream, man. So let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Let us know what you guys thought of our boy Matt here. Do you want him back? Before we end here, put a W in the chat. Say W for Matt if you want Matt back.
W for Aaron.
right,
Aaron's
so-
watching this.
Oh, yeah, W for Aaron. We
Yeah.
love you, Aaron. You just... What's happening to us, Aaron? I send you Instagram message after Instagram message, and what's happening to us? So anyway, Aaron, you better come next time, bro. It's a right. Was it not fun, Matt? Was it not fun?
It was a blast. Thank you
Okay.
very much. It was great
Tell
to be
your
here.
friends, if you guys want to help support the channel, please make sure you guys check out purchase a shirt in the Ward Radio merch store. Also, our War in Heaven Veterans hat. We got about 8 or 9 of those left. If you're a person of means, please consider supporting the channel through a contribution through Venmo or Zelle. And if you want, you can check out, as always, the Ward Radio website. Sign up for our newsletter where you keep up to date on all of the latest and greatest that is tangential to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And as we love to say at the end of all of our videos, for this and more, please make sure you guys check us out at wardradio.com.
I built a rocket in my basement. I'm gonna fly it to the moon.